All right. We are live. It is Big Game James here. Silver and Blue Nation, you know how we do. Saturday night. You know how we boss got me all loud over
My bad.
there. But I got my dog boss Cowboys in the house. What's up, my man?
What's going on, big brother? How you doing?
Just try to live. We talked about some things earlier off air. Streets is kind of crazy right now, so we're just kind of maybe just praying for some peace and some goodness going on. But hey, I'm good. I'm alive. It's another day. My kids are alive. I'm healthy. I think that's the best. I think one thing my mom always tell me, I kind of always remember this, is like not really the money or anything else, but every day you wake up and you have your health, that is key. Because without health, you can't do nothing. So I think I have health every day right now. And shout out to everybody in the building. Jay Jones, how you doing? Jamal Sims, Boothang, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Long time since I talked to you. Louis V, how you doing? Keep on coming in. Keep on in there. All my members jump on in there. What up? What up? What up? Keep on coming in there. Got my Facebook on today. So I got Robert Cherry. What's up, my big dog? Robert Cherry. Hey, what up, Tyler Sanders? What's up, big dog? How you doing, man? I miss you. Make sure you keep on doing good out there. Proud of you, bro. Joe Tranchino. What up? What up? What up? What up? We getting people in the building. We're going to talk some good Cowboys football. Well, it hasn't been good Cowboys football, but nevertheless, it's been Cowboys football going on. And now we are at the bye week. Just got done playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Two back-to-back good performances, even though the Cowboys came up short in the Steelers game. Some questionable calls that happened in that game, boss. But just a quick synopsis, if that's the word I can throw out. Synopsis, if I can say that. What's your just quick thoughts about the Cowboys game with the Steelers in a whole, and the performance?
I thought it was an epic performance. If you anybody who read my recap of the game, because I always write the recaps after the game and give Boss Cowboy analysis on it. You'll think we won. I mean, because they showed so much, and it was as if lightning struck three times for us in terms of quarterback luck. Because I honestly did not expect that out of Gilbert. It was way better than I expected. That's where I will come out frankly and say I was wrong on the analysis from the week prior. He didn't have much to show on film, but what he did show when he got his professional chance was a lot of grit, a lot of poise. You couldn't even tell that was his first NFL start. He made to be a first time start. I was extra impressed. I like the defense, and I do like it when we can start pinpointing one or two things as I break down. You know what I mean? When it looked like everything bad, that's way more frustrating than saying, okay, look like if we help Anthony Brown or get an upgrade to him, or Xavier Woods, we doing okay. So so like I rather even start with where I think I was wrong on a couple of things. So I would say Gilbert. I also said I was going to openly come back from this game and say something about the defense, because we went back and forth on Mike Nolan last week.
Mm-hmm.
And you was right that Mike Nolan deserved the chance, and I have to recognize when it looked like his defense is starting to come around. Like, so if I'm gonna beat the ground that he's not worthy of a job, I also got to beat the ground when his defense actually played some good Cowboy football.
True story. True story. Let me give a few more shout outs to my guy, Marvin Hargrove Sr. What's up with you, Christopher Gibbs? People just coming up in the building. You make some really good points, but I will definitely agree with you as well and say that I was misread Garrett Gilbert. I think a lot of people did, but there was quite a few people that was in his corner and said that. Some people are just good guessing, so don't just jump out there.
Yeah,
Oh, I knew it. Oh, I knew he was going to be
how
good.
did you know?
You didn't know anything. Okay.
Right,
So
right.
them people that were saying, I told you Garrett Gilbert could be good, I'm not listening to you. Okay.
No.
Unless I feel like you're one of those analysis guys. You feel me, boss?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
giving
Well, you hype everybody, so eventually when that lightning strike, you can say I was right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving you that. Okay.
Nah.
So
Uh-uh.
those people, you're not giving no love from me. Sorry. None.
That's fair.
But there have been some people that I think who really analyze the game good and said, keep your eye out for Gilbert because he might be able to make some plays. I will say that. And I didn't think he was going to make those plays. Because number one of the key was, and when we talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers game that I brought up was the offensive line. How was the offensive line going to play against this Pittsburgh front? That was going to be the key because I also said I felt like the Pittsburgh offense wasn't that great. I said that, boss. I don't want to toot my horn, but I just did. I tooted it.
Toot.
I tooted that motherfucker. You feel that? But you know what I mean? But I said that Pittsburgh offense wasn't super impressive, even though they did do their thing toward the end, but it was almost like they kind of saw our defense and the offense was, just kind of plays just kind of happened the way they did. But our defense was able to stay in that game, create pressure, things of that nature. I was wondering, could our offense do anything? The offensive line held up enough. I think they only gave up maybe one sack or two sacks. I think at the end of the game, the sack was at the end of the game. They didn't call that face or the horse collar. But they had gave up two sacks, but for the most part, they only gave up one sack, hella pressures, but Gilbert was able to sit up in that pocket and make throws. And he looked poised. I didn't think he was going to do that, boss. I didn't think he was going to be poised in there. I thought he was going to be a little shaky.
Very poised. Can I add one more thing that I love?
Go ahead.
The team was rallying behind him.
Yes, they were.
He was the underdog that got his chance. And what I loved about it is he was reading his progressions great. He was actually really going through all his progressions versus Andy Dalton and Danucci. They was one read quarterbacks, but like when they said that he seemed like he grasped the offense,
mm-hmm.
You could see it because he was getting that ball out. I mean, the offensive line look way better when they don't hold the ball, right?
Right.
And he did, man. And I love how the guys was getting behind him. And I do want to say one thing because there was some theories that, because I said I feel like we're tanking. Obviously, you don't know that for certain, but I feel like we're tanking. But I do want to say this too. The fact that they talking about starting Andy Dalton is almost like Exhibit A that they are truly tanking. Because how can you see a performance like what we just saw and you don't start the best man? Because if you do a poll, 95% of Cowboy fans go say they want to see Gilbert over Andy.
Well, see, that's where I'm going to come and say I'm going to disagree with that because I say that and only because in the Stephen Jones eyes, because this is what Stephen Jones came out. I don't believe nothing they say. First of all, I don't believe nothing they say, but this is what he came out and said, that we're going to go back to Andy Dalton, and he's still been cheering and trumpeting that horn saying Dallas is still in it. They're 2-7. They're still in it within the division. They can still win division games, and still it's not like Philly is sweet. It's not like nobody has ran away from the division. So Stephen Jones says, as long as we're in it, they brought Andy Dalton over for a reason. They got Garrett Gilbert off the street at the last minute. They brought Andy Dalton in their eyes for a reason. That was the win and keep them in it. And if they were mathematically out, then I could say maybe I'll see the Joneses because they have, I believe they're in there. They got their hands in everything. Then I could see them saying, oh, we like Gilbert and see what he could do for us for the future, because Andy Dalton is not the future. He's not going to be with the team from afterwards. He's going to want to get a starting job. He's not going to want to be a backup to Dak Prescott again. And now you could see a Garrett Gilbert after they're mathematically out the playoffs. Then that's when I think you may see him. But I think from that aspect, I think that's where you're seeing Andy Dalton. And I don't think they're coming from the tanking aspect, telling the fans, not I'm believing you ain't taking, but you're telling the fans because they're good with the media play. We know that, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand how a guy can show all of what he showed and you don't play him. I don't get it at all from just football. From what you just said, yeah, I get it. Where sometimes you want to go with the guy that you paid. Sometimes you want to show that you was right about Andy Dalton being the guy that can maybe put some pressure on Dak in the offseason with a contract and be false leverage and all that kind of stuff. Sure. But it's like, how do you ignore all the stuff that we saw? We saw a team come into Dallas undefeated. We saw a team that was a good team, like in terms of both sides of the football. Pittsburgh, right? A well-coached team. And we saw a guy come in there and almost lead that upset. And we saw Andy Dalton, frankly, against much weaker teams, and it wasn't even close. And and just from and because I was on take mode myself until I saw a quarterback that I said, you know what? It can maybe be some magic. Like obviously, it's a
ain't no magic.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of where things can happen because he was making plays. Like, I mean, how you go out there like in the first series and then boop, hit Coop on the fade. We ain't seen a deep ball fade since Dak, except that one to Gallup where he underthrew Gallup and Gallup had to catch it.
Right.
You know, but no, it's the offense was moving, and I haven't seen the offense move since Dak went down. And so and then I saw and then it was almost like the morale of the team was up. It's like when everybody cheering and everybody like, yeah, and you take the guy that they was rallying behind.
I mean, I don't disagree. I like to see Garrett Gilbert because I don't feel like the season is going anywhere. Whether they're trying to tank or not, I just don't feel like they're going anywhere regardless of who's behind there because I don't feel like this team is now going to go to a Super Bowl. You know, I don't feel like those are the aspirations. I don't think Andy Dalton can do it. He's never shown he can do it in Cincinnati. So what makes me think he's going to come over here with Dallas with this team? Got half the team on damn.
Yeah, I'm all the way. My whole.
You feel what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, on that.
And Garrett Gilbert's not doing it. So we're understanding that this is not going to happen regardless. Right. So if that's the thing, then I'm cool with going with Garrett Gilbert. I'm just saying with Stephen Jones and what he's popping off at his mouth, saying, "Oh well, we're going to go back to Dalton because of that thought that we are still in it." Not saying I feel you. Might as well go with Gilbert because, like you said, the team did rally around him. Oh, I want to say one real quick. Shout out to my dog Sky. He was in the Sky Dallas Cowboys Network. He building up that channel again because the Illuminati. But go out there and like and sub to Sky. That's my dog. That we just had Kyle Humans on at the hype with him and Law, and they did a great job. Kyle Humans broke down that draft and all that good stuff. So shout out to him and them guys what they brought to the table last couple days ago. And a shout out to the $1 holler from Philly Notion. We know your team is trash, but definitely give you respect for the $1.99 holler. Keep them donations popping. Don't let the Philly people beat you in the donations. That's all I'm saying. But that's all I'm saying. We can't have no Philly people donate more.
Listen, man,
we can't have Philly people. Can't be having Philly people. You feel me? You can't be having Philly people donate more than anybody else. So that's all I'm saying. Ain't nobody hating, but I'm just saying. But
hey, what's up, Scott?
You know what I mean? But you know, like I said, the whole team rallied around Gilbert. I feel good with Gilbert. It ain't like I said, you ain't got nothing to lose, and let's see what you have because this could be a guy that could be a backup if you keeping a Dak Prescott. Because I still don't that ain't no guarantee in my eyes. But if you have him in the fold and he's not a young guy, I think he's like 29 years old, so it's not like he's a young guy. He's been around the block. That's somebody you can say maybe he can win a game or two. And if he can show he can win a few games right now when the team is in duress, when you don't have your starting two top tackles, you are missing a lot of pieces, and you're still able to win some games, that looks good going forward as a good backup to a Dak Prescott, and you feel better next season. Then you don't have to worry about that position in the draft or free agency. And you know what I mean? That's a one spot that you have to eliminate from the fold because you have other places that you need to look within the draft coming up in 2021.
Right.
So,
but I will say one more thing. See, I think I'm gonna say why I think the Joneses really also want to tank because from a business standpoint, look how much talk is already generating from us being in the top 3 spot right now. Right? Like all this old fake controversy of should they trade up for Fields? Should they, try to pick Lawrence? It is so much talk. And then once draft gets closer and closer, it's gonna be so much hype around what is Dallas going to do,
Mm-hmm.
So like from a business standpoint, I think them Joneses, I think this is more so kind of like that pick looked better than the hope of the season and winning this division.
Yeah, I feel you. Shout out to my guy Jay Jones with the $5 holler. There you go. Don't let them Philly people come up in his feed doing That
That's
mess,
what's up, man.
we appreciate you, but we ain't trying to have all that up in the house. He says, how much pressure is on Steven talking? How much pressure is Steven talking, placing on Mike McCarthy, deciding on the QB? So basically, how much pressure do you think that he's putting on the pressure of, well, this is up to Mike?
Nah, I
Because
mean,
I feel like this is Steven.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't feel like this is Mike. I feel like this
No,
is Steven.
and the word, and see, Mike almost like we just had an election, okay? So I'm not getting into ugly politics, but I'm gonna use politics as an example. Every time there's a new president, they call it kind of like capital that you have maybe your first year where you're a new president and stuff generally go your way because everybody quiet because you're the new guy. They want to see what you're gonna do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Mike McCarthy. When he first came in, he looked like they gave him a lot of rope because it's like you beat us every time you was in our stadium. You got a Super Bowl ring and they set back. But with all these games that we lost, trust me, Steven and Jerry starting to creep back up on that decisions table seat, you know?
Hell yeah. Don't
So
say
it's
they're
like,
not.
yeah, and we seeing it like kind of obvious back into personnel again. So it's time to go ahead and admit that pretty much whatever coach we go get is gonna have to always kind of dance with Jerry. That's he's the puff daddy. That's what it is. He's puff daddy of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never gonna stop until he's gone. And then now Steven likely has learned his ways. That's gonna just kind of be the coach of dealing with Dallas. So Mike McCarthy he's gonna have say. And I know that the Joneses do pull back on a lot of decisions, but they never go have their hand completely out.
Hell no, they're always going to have their hand in it. If we think otherwise, we're fooling ourselves.
Crazy.
Shout out to Always a Lady. I've seen in the last few feeds. Shout out to you. She's in the feed. Good to see. And a lot of people are commenting on, they feel the same about Gilbert, gives, more mobility, was more accurate in the pocket, didn't look all skitterish. You got a veteran as long as Dalton has been in the NFL, and he looks skitterish as hell, and it's pretty much the same offensive line that Gilbert had.
Right.
And he played well with it. It's not like he didn't have anybody else. So it's the same thing when we're talking about that. So that's just something to look at. Give me some positives because the defense played well the last two games. We talked about that. You mentioned Mike Nolan. Give me some positive about this Pittsburgh game on the defensive side. Who kind of stood out to you and kind of made you feel good in that game?
I mean, Gregory definitely still showing that flash. I mean, he's looking like he's better than ever. This is the best Gregory I've seen. In terms of positive, I felt like obviously Gallimore was like, Jesus, man, you looking like a year two guy already. You look like you already hit your year two spurt, because obviously the biggest gain is between year one and year two. And he looked like he already, he was penetrating. That middle didn't look like that in these first 7 games. It did not. And he was in there making plays and doing damage. He the one that hurt Ben. And the hurt Ben gave us a chance. We all felt the whole energy shift in that game when Ben went down.
Right.
That was Gallimore.
Right.
And it's man. So just to be positive. I mean,
Gala monster.
Man, and then
I call him the Gala monster.
And one more thing I'll say, it's off topic, but it's positive. Super positive. I don't see how we change our draft strategy going forward because it's epically working. We at this point have had 5 rookies start for us already. We messing around, could finish the season with 6 or 7 either starting or having playing time out one draft. That's crazy. That's crazy because we getting ready to see Reggie Robinson now. What if he'll fish in water? That's 6. We got 6 guys right now that's getting epic playing time. Still look better on Watt. And I ain't expect that. I was expecting Watt to have his way. Now he lost twice. I saw where Watt go make plays. But I like the fact that he go have a whole year of experience, bro. And it's, Pollard, you asked about defense, but Pollard look good, because we just talking positives, play calling was good. based on not having Dak. We moved the ball well. I think our receivers got back in it. I mean, I was feeling for the receivers because it's like, man, y'all don't got nobody to distribute, and y'all good. But that changed this game. So it was a lot of positive. Special teams was magical. I'm gonna say this, man. If my boy Thompson don't make the Pro Bowl in special teams,
right?
Oh man, say listen, lay the dude out. Crawford jumping over piles, blocking kicks,
granny hips.
Man, like say no, it was a lot of positive.
Yeah, it was granny hips going.
It was a flat out. Like it was exactly what me and you envisioned when we said last week. I don't mind if we lose every game if we lose it like that. Like if we lose where we oh, you got me. You know what I mean? Good luck and hit.
Right.
That was Cowboy football, man. I was like, look, I could sleep at night with that. I couldn't sleep with what we was putting up the previous weeks. That wasn't Cowboy football because even in 2015, and I'm finished when I say this, we lost. We was 4-12, but every one of them was competitive. Every one of them was down to the wire. Every one of them we could sleep at night. So super positive, and I finish with that was Cowboy football.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to my guy Tavis Banks for the $5 Holly said controversy sales. When we talking about the Joneses. Also shout out to my guy Jim Jones for the Jim. I call him Jim Jones. Jim Laws. Well, I think I got some rap music in my head or something. But is he? I don't know if this is a question. He says, is it because they paid him $7 million on Dalton and want the basically they paid him that money? Is that the reason why he's playing? Because we know that might be true. You paid him that bread. You're not paying Gilbert nothing. That's a great point by Jim Laws, in my opinion. I thought of it, but never thought of it just like right now. We know Stephen Jones and them going to keep people in that lineup because of pay scale. We know why Tyrone Crawford's still there, and he's $9 million. He's not going to be on that bench. We know what I'm saying? No. So that's a great point. That could be the reason too. He's making this money. We don't want him sitting on the bench. We paid him this money to do this, and we're not paying Garrett Gilbert to do this. We don't know nothing about that. So I think that goes hand in hand is that we're still in it. So I think that goes kind of point and point. But I'm definitely bouncing off of a shout out to Always a Lady who just became a member of Silver and Blue Nation Big Game James to the Biggie level. Shout out to you. Give me salutes to you. We will definitely be hooking you up here for that, and we definitely appreciate you becoming a member to the nation right now. But I'm definitely bouncing off those positives before we go player to player.
Right.
But Randy Gregory, that damn Ben, for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to get the comments from some of the people, who was impressive on. I'm gonna say the defensive side. Nobody else. I want to see what you guys are saying in the feed. Who would y'all really? One person that really stood out to you on defense. I'm gonna name a couple people, but what was one person that really stood out to you on the defense? Of course, Neville Gallimore, the Gala Monster. I call him the Gala Monster. What's that?
Definitely Gala Monster.
The Gala Monster. Because the biggest thing with him was, I think, playing time, in my opinion. He was still learning a lot. The defensive line, you're playing the 3-tech. He didn't really play that at Oklahoma. So I think he was learning some things of the speed of the game, the strength of the game. And we loved his motor. That's the one thing you can't teach. You can't teach a motor, boss. No. And if you have some skills with it, it'll eventually catch up to you when you get the playing time. And guess what? They got rid of Poe, right? Yeah, was gone, and then all of a sudden now it opens a door, just like it opened doors for other players. Now you have a player that's playing more. Now you have a player that's getting significant snaps. So now you're starting to see that player open up, and you saw what he could bring to the table, especially when he was stuffing Ben, especially stuffing those couple of run plays, those back-to-back run plays, and the energy that he really brought. The team fed off that. You know what I mean? The defensive line fed off that, and that's a rookie in there. Like you said, that's a 2020 draft pick rookie, which is exciting. Then I'm going to say my main guy was Randy Gregory, just for the sake of that damn Ben. He was just 40. He had 40 snaps, the most he's had since he's come back in these 3 games. Yeah. But the pressure he was bringing, he was taking on double teams. He was showing up in the run game. He was making plays.
We just said the same 2 guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, they flashed. They greatly flashed.
And what excites me is, boss, going forward, if we can keep Randy Gregory, get him on a contract, maybe a couple-year deal, sign him while he's low. He's a young 28 as far as his body wise, as far as that. If we could ever see Randy Gregory like 2 straight years in a row on the field, I think you could have one of those still, even at his age, because he hasn't played. You like, damn, Randy Gregory, that many sacks. I think you could still see it because, dog, you already see it in 3 games how much pressure he is putting in that backfield already.
He's
You
fast.
I mean, dog, I love.
He looked like a faster TJ Watt, like you know what I mean. You know, like more explosive. You like it's gonna click too. No, you're right. I say give him a 3-year now.
I mean,
like,
give him
where
the
it look like some money.
I mean, give him that deal. Give him some.
Yeah, give him that deal.
I don't think he's going anywhere because as long as they kept on to you got to have that loyalty. As long as they held on to yourself, so you got to have that loyalty. But I want a quick question because I have some people in the feed now. I got my guy Louis V says, why aren't the Cowboys starting Bradley and Nye? Well, number one, they're not going to start Bradley and Nye.
No.
Okay, he's not going to start.
No.
I think the only reason why you're not seeing a Bradley and Nye is maybe defensive scheme, and he's playing a rush lineman, rush in. I don't think he's going to be playing a linebacker position. I don't think he has that grasped. Also heard that he was a poor practice player. So you're not practicing good, you're not going to get on the field, especially as a rookie. And you're also probably playing maybe on the right side. I don't know if they're going to have a right or the left because I know he can play both sides. But where would they really play you? Because you're not taking snaps from Alden Smith. You're not taking snaps from a Randy Gregory. And especially if they want pressure, they're not going to just put you in the game because, let's get some Bradley and Nye some playing time. Yay, for a play. No, they want to try to win this game. So they're going to have Alden Smith and Randy Gregory in there. So that's why I feel it's going to be hard to see Bradley and Nye get snaps unless when we are mathematically out of the playoffs, then you could see them playing because then I could see them saying, we want to rest Alden Smith. We don't have to play him. Maybe we want to keep him for next year and sign him for a deal. Jerry Jones has already been talking about it. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So then you could see a Bradley and Nye get on the field. But I don't feel like until they're mathematically out of it, that's when you'll see significant snaps from Bradley and Nye, in my opinion.
Can't add anything to that. Perfectly said. And that's why I said it could be 7, but like everything would have to go wrong where we're mathematically out of it, and then they'll start seeing what these young guys could do, which they should do. But the guys that where we could end up with 6 is going to be Reggie Robinson now, because now Reggie getting ready to get his chance. And I've been really wanting to see that because the way that they was talking about is they wanted to wean him into starting. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes you have to just get in it. Like Jordan Lewis had to just jump in Denver game and then get out until they benched him in the offseason. But in terms of he played that whole season, still had to play. Like nobody saw Liel not playing. Nobody until it was, damn, he out, right? He was gone. So it was up to Steele. He was the starter. Then all of a sudden you got Knight. So the same thing goes with like Anah, that we're going to have to see some bad luck on others before he get his chance.
All right, and I got another question. This is from Jay Jones. He says, Reggie playing cornerback or safety? What do you think, boss?
I would want him to compete with Xavier Woods right now. Like Xavier Woods from the Pittsburgh game and the guys that's the liability of our defense exposed right now because they were the major breakdowns on the defense again. Xavier Woods and Anthony Brown again. So I would want him to play safety. I would want them to put him back there as safety, but Big Game James said that he heard reports last week that he wasn't really grasping safety. So as of right now, then put him in corner because you actually drafted him to be a hybrid guy that supposedly can play both positions. He's extra athletic. So, and the easiest one, honestly, to go out there and play is corner in terms of if you're an athlete. Because as a safety, you got to diagnose a lot. It's a lot, and then sometimes you going head up with running backs, and sometimes you're even taking on guards and tackles. It's a lot going on inside. But when you're on that island, it's more so am I athletic and can I play my techniques right, and can I really keep up with the guy in front of me? So with him be such a raw athlete, his best chance of winning the crowd would be corner. It would be corner, like to where we can start liking him, and he go get his chance. And if he go out there and he start making noise similar to Diggs, because we start liking Diggs, because Diggs is up and down. But one thing we all liked about Diggs is what he compete.
Right.
So if you go out there and you compete and you go hard, you give up some plays, but then you turn around and make plays like Diggs, then that means we go into next year with really no need. We'll be open to let Awuzie go and Jordan Lewis go if he ball out at corner.
I definitely don't think Jordan Lewis is coming back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to cost a lot, but I just feel like he's probably wants a chance. I don't feel like he's the back and forth. In my opinion, I feel like he's tired of it. I do feel like Awuzie can come back. I feel like they will offer him a deal. I don't know how much he's going to command the market since he's been out these 7 games with the hamstring injury. The career has been up and down, so I don't see how much he gets out there on the market. So I think it could be an affordable deal to bring Awuzie back, and I want to see Awuzie come back. You can still draft an elite corner in these high drafts, and you can still have an Awuzie, and then you're feeling good about yourself because Awuzie is still young. So
right,
and then you have a building piece. For me, with the Reggie Robinson situation from corners to safety, I'm going to go with you with the cornerback. I'd rather see him start out at cornerback, not the safety position, because as you said, safety is a lot harder to diagnose than corner. And if you're an athlete, they can put you in some man-in-man. They can put you in a cover 3 zone. They can kind of, cover you up, kind of hide you a little bit. So it can help you. And then you can, you give 5-10 yards off, you can come in and make a good tackle. It's easier for you to transition. You're sitting in front of that defense. You got to make calls. You have to see things that the quarterback
line them balls up.
You feel me? And if you make the wrong move at that safety position, that's over the top, and them is touchdowns all day. And we've already seen that happen already. Lord, have we not, with Thompson and things of that nature already with Woods. So I wouldn't want to put a rookie on an island, especially if that was not his main position in college. And in my opinion, you play at Tulsa, but wasn't like you're playing Alabama and stuff like that.
Right.
You weren't playing the top guys, and now you're coming in the NFL fresh, green, off the never playing a game, and we're going to put you right at safety. Hell to the no. Play some corner, get your feet wet, hit some people, play some quick. Let's put in some press corner, see how aggressive you are. Okay, if you gave up a little play, but how did you play on that play? Did you put your head down? Okay, he came right back and fought the next play. Like you said, that's what we loved about Trevin Diggs. Kept fighting. We would get frustrated with Diggs, but then he'd come back and make another good play. And every single
you
play
forget about it.
You saw Diggs has the mindset for it, and that's what you love, and that's a building block. Plus, he has the ability. That's what you want as a building block. I'm really interested to see Reggie Robinson from that aspect, boss, on the cornerback, because he's a big corner too. And he has good speed, and he's scrappy. And I seen him at Tulsa when I watched the tape. He's an aggressive guy. He'll get his hands on you. Got long arms. He's aggressive, and that's another aggressive guy that we can have. And if you can look maybe building toward the future, you can start playing that press corner. The defense gets more aggressive. You can build within the inside, maybe on that line, and now you're feeling good about yourself going forward.
Right. I mean, so really either or. I mean, the person that I actually want off the field, the 2 guys I want off the field, is Xavier Woods and Anthony Brown. I want them off the field. I don't want them on the field anymore. I don't. Because, I mean, it's consistently plays made on those guys. It's consistent with missed tackles, especially with Xavier Woods. That's one thing that's been very consistent from literally 2017 to now. It's been very consistent that he misses tackles. So, I mean, I'm ready to move on from that. And because they made their big plays on those guys. If it wasn't for those 2 guys, we beat Pittsburgh. We beat Pittsburgh, so it's we need some playmakers out there. So right now, definitely Donovan Wilson looking like a clear upgrade to Thompson. Like it's clear. It's like we don't feel the void like we saw when we had Thompson out there. We would super void vertically. Now when they throwing vertical, you had Donovan Wilson diving with Diggs, almost getting a pick. You wouldn't have saw that with Thompson. Thompson would have looked like he was having a Charlie horse back there, but it's some real speed back there. And I heard some people kind of diagnose Donovan Wilson, and they said that he don't have good hips. But he got great change direction for sure. For sure, man. It's almost hard to find anybody right now in that backfield that had a range like him. Donovan Wilson is a true upgrade. Like, he got about 3 more games playing at this level, and I'm gonna say we got a starter. And we don't even got to really look at it. Like, now we got to just replace Xavier Woods. But in the first 7 games, we knew we had to get 2 safeties. Now we just need 1.
Yeah, I'm hearing you with that. Shout out to my guy Daryl Sheps. What up to you, man? Been a long time since I talked to you. Shout out to you, Gregory Davis. Give a shout out to him. But I feel you. I made a video, boss, on Donovan Wilson over the summer. And I was basically saying, basically we're talking about the interceptions that he had this past preseason. And I had been talking about Donovan Wilson, but I'm gonna keep it real, boss. I stopped talking about him so much. I was really hard on that Donovan Wilson train, but it was like everybody was thwarting me. When we had Brian Broaddus on there, that we was like, well, there's a reason why he's not playing. And then when we had Dave Hellman on him, I was like, well, what's up with Donovan Wilson? Why? I mean, with Dallas is playing bad, why can't he get on the field? Well, there's a reason why. And then I heard Mike Nolan say, well, there's a reason why people are backups. You remember that interview? He said, there's a reason why people are backups when everybody's clamoring for Donovan Wilson. You feel me? So I just kind of just said, well, I'm going to just chill on Donovan Wilson. He must not be good or something. I've been I made a video. I said he can get in here. He can make some plays. I love how he'll lay the boom on you. Yeah, he's a little stiff in the hips, but he has decent coverage. He had 5 interceptions at Texas A&M. I feel like he has that attitude that you want on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that guy. And I'm just looking at a few things. He's versatile too. I mean, he's got 2 sacks on the year, so obviously you can blitz him. And he had that big sack and fumble with Carson Wentz. And then he's played 129 snaps in the box, 155 snaps at the free safety. So he's played that strong safety and he's played free safety. The last 2 games, Philly game, he played the strong safety. And I believe they played him strictly at the free this past game. So those are some things that you see. Yards per reception against him is 4.7, not too bad. He has 22 tackles. Bad thing about it, he does have 6 missed tackles.
Yep.
But I do believe
with
his rating per Pro Football Focus, it has gone up except 1 game. The last 3 games, he's been in the positive as far as his, stats. So I think the arrow's pointing up with him, and the more continued playing time that he gets, just like some of his ratings, the Pro Football Focus ratings they gave him, boss. He had a 58 rating in Week 3 against Washington, 77 rating against Philadelphia, and a 75 rating against Pittsburgh. So you see he's continued to get better with more playing time that he's getting. And he's still young. This is only his 2nd year. So as you said, this guy can play into a role, and he's a 6th-round pick like Xavier Woods was. So he's not super expensive. He's cheap. Yeah. Find you a dog safety, whether in free agency or the draft. Find you a dog and pair him maybe with a Donovan Wilson. Then I feel like it makes Wilson better, because I feel like Wilson will feed off that, because he's a guy that always wants to improve and get better.
Yeah, and I looked at the safety class, this draft safety class. This is a no-miss safety class. This is a no-miss safety class. Like, we gonna be able to get that safety if that's what we really want. This is the draft. You go get them for sure. But going back to Donovan Wilson, one thing about Donovan Wilson is you can tell he not only love football, he extra violent, and he loved playing for the Cowboys, man. His whole family, his whole family was diehards, man. He living a dream. He just been waiting for this. Honestly, he like Dak. Dak dream was to be a Cowboy. Dak was depressed as he was dropping in the draft until he got drafted to Dallas, he said. And then he said he instantly felt better. Like, it's certain guys that we drafted LVE, and you can see the love of the Cowboys coming up with these guys, because Jesus, man, like LVE, I was afraid, because I was like, bro, it's too early. But I'm so glad to see him out there, though. I'm like, just don't get hurt. Right. But it's that love that I think I'm seeing in Donovan Wilson, and he's a punisher. I dare anybody go back and watch the Browns game.
Oh, first time he came in multiple games. He come in, he will lay the boom on. He's not afraid to throw his body.
Man, he laid Jordan Landry out. Landry tried to block him. Please go watch that play. It's right when they put him in, bro. I've never ever seen Jordan Landry just get demolished like that. Like, and then he's starting to keep that intensity, because that was my critique on him that game. I said he came in hot and he kind of fizzled out, but now he keeping it on. So yeah, that's another positive. I got another curveball positive though.
Okay.
Antoine Woods defending the star.
Oh, that was hella positive. That was that Antoine Woods doing what he did and how he did it and the way he did it made me feel better.
Hold on,
the way he did it, the way he did it.
Let me say what you said. You said
he
how he did it, the way he did it, and
because
it was how he did it.
because let's keep it real. I ain't hating on Byron Jones, dog. I'm not hating on Byron Jones, y'all. That's the senator though, dog. That's the senator guy. And when they play the Titans and they got that interception or whatever, and he ran to the star and all of them ran to the star, and he just, hey guys, he kind of came up there like, hey guys, break it up, guys, get away. Like, wasn't nobody afraid of that. Wasn't nobody scared of that. Like, they was laughing at him, probably like, oh, whatever. We already done danced on this mud sucker. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a hell about you. Yeah. So when people were trying to hype Byron Jones up, like Byron Jones, I'll give Byron that he at least went over there, but come on, dog, you can't go in there. I seen it back before Antoine did that when the Cowboys played the Redskins back in the 80s, and that's when they had the fun bunch, and they scored a touchdown, and they were doing that fun bunch where all the receivers would throw their hands up, and then they all tap their hands in the end zone, and they went to the middle, they went to the star in the end zone, like 5 of them, and they went to try to do that damn fun bunch. Dexter Thurman, Michael Downs, all them jokers jumped in the middle of that. They were scrapping. They was like, nah, they were scrapping. That's how you do it. So that's the way, first of all, I love how Randy Gregory slapped that ball out his hand.
Loved it.
I loved that part. But then the way Antoine Woods was like, nah, dog. When the way he was sliding across, and when they were trying to say James Conner, I seen James Conner come on the backside, but don't try to play. It was James Conner that told you. You saw because we're not down the field, so I damn sure know, and there's not a huge crowd. Antoine Woods was saying something to you, and I'm sure you heard it, and he played with you at USC, so I know he was like, nah, Juju, nah, dog, you ain't doing that here, dog. You ain't doing that here. And that's why he did it. So
I loved it, bro. He had that.
That's something that makes you feel good going forward. Shout out to Twaka.
Man, yeah.
2 hood woods, baby. 2
he
hood
had
woods.
that. See, he had that hood skip. You know what that hood skip is?
That's
I wish
my
you would skip. You know what I'm saying? I wish you
would
step across this line right here.
Yeah, nah, like that's 2 hood woods.
Because some people don't know it's a term that is from coast to coast that we all call the square, right? So the square when it's time to box. So if you step in that square, you getting ready to box. And Antoine had that. It was that whole thing like, yeah, just you cool over there, you cool right there, but don't cross this star.
Yeah, you ain't.
It's the square,
yeah.
and it was the heart. Like, and I just need them to finish like that. So if the Cowboys finish like that, we not go actually be picking at 3. If they play that kind of football from here out, we go win some games.
And that's what I was talking about. Bluff City, shout out to you. They had me on their show Wednesday, boss.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about, that the Cowboys can win some games. But, to another point, as you said, Woods not just defending the star, but his play. Let's give a shout out to Antoine Woods, because guess what? And that's another thing that we can also say, the movement of Dontari Poe off maybe that was not just a locker room. It could have been a locker room thing, because, there was already the distraction. I'm not trying to bring this up, but the distraction with the flag, and it was already the flack with he was overweight, just a lot of negatives with him. You feel me, boss? So then the play is not matching anything to what people were wanting. You move out of the way. And let's remember, boss, Woods took forever to sign that tender. Okay. And he was when we had Brian Broaddus on the show, word was he was already frustrated because, they brought Poe in and basically he was relegated to a backup position. He felt like I should be starting. So now Poe is going. Now Woods is getting more playing time, although I don't think he's a dominant starter. I'm sorry, Woods, talking. Don't hate on me. But for a full game, I think he wears down. But
he's a much better run stopper. And like the warning on Poe was already there, bro. Like, I got laughed at when we acquired Poe, and I said Antoine Woods right now was already better at him at stopping the run, because if anybody looked at the Panthers, they was like him, even with McCoy, they was still like almost dead. They was 31st in stopping the run, So it was already out. The film was out and everything. we was hyped on his name, and because he got paid a pretty good dollar, Stephen Jones does what he does, and he put him in front of the guy who was the clear better run stop. And I agree, Antoine Woods is not just like a Donovan Sue in his youth type of guy that's gonna clog up the middle. Even Sue now, right? But he's solid like that. Them stopping the run finally we didn't look poorish in that middle, with Gallimore and Woods in there. You can really see a whole difference in the point of attack. It's totally different. You're not seeing that push on off the ball. It's not even close. And I think it's helping our linebackers, right? Jalen and LVE not having to fight off guards as they trying to make tackles, you know what I mean? Because he holding, So now Antoine that's a sneaker plus. So I want to also see what he does going forward and how he finish out, because then hopefully we can get him on a cheaper 3-year deal, because he's more so the type of guy that I would say is appreciative, right? When you came from an undrafted free agent, you get your chance because you slap Fredericks, right? You go out there and you do something. Last year was kind of bad on him because he had that hurt knee after the Washington game. Took him a while to come back, so he was almost like a Wuze. Bad to get injured on the contract year. So this is really your year to kind of finish out and show that you're worth some money. But because you really was kind of competing with Poe, we might be able to get you at a deal. And he might take it like, well, I ain't put up enough film to be fighting y'all, so I'll take this, 10, 15,
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, here's my thing with the Woods, I feel like he wants to be the starter, and I get it, but they're going to draft somebody in the draft, and they better go after somebody in free agency because he's not dominant. But if you mix him with a young, dominant guy, Woods could be even better. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
That's why I just feel about Woods is a better complementary player than the starter on the team. But if you get him another dog right there, because he's a dog, a big dog, like a 6'5". If we had a Poe or a Snacks, like a Poe size guy with the dog attitude, then we would have felt good when you're mixing in Woods. You feel what I'm saying? Because Poe had the size, 6'4", 350 freaking pounds. But if he had the dog in him, you get what I'm saying? Right. Then we would have felt great. And then you're pairing Woods with that. But he didn't have the dog in him. It was a name. But it was a thing where you should have looked at Snacks Harrison. But now, in my opinion, you need to get a dog in this draft. Find somewhere. Even if you can't find the first, you need a dog out there. We need a dog defensive tackle, boss. We haven't had a dog defensive tackle since, I'm going to say, a dog. David Irvinson was a dog for us to me.
Oh,
but we didn't see enough of him.
Right.
I'm going to say Jay Rattler was the last animal in the middle, undersized guy, but he was the last animal defensive tackle that we've had that you were saying, he's nasty. What do you think? I'm going to ask people in the chat, who's the last dog defensive tackle we had? Dog.
I mean, to me, it was David Irvin. I mean, that was the last, because he was actually.
But to me, he didn't really play enough to really have that dog mantle like a Jay Ratliff.
Nah, to me, he was a dog because he was super interchangeable, and the best tank came out also. And to me, he was unstoppable. He was outpacing
Jason Hatcher too. I forgot Jason Hatcher.
Yeah, I mean, he was outpacing my guy out of the Rams.
I'm listening to you.
Aaron Donald. Yeah, he was outpacing Aaron Donald on sacks and pressures. And it was just.
I ain't saying he ain't an animal because he made our whole defense better. Like, I can imagine if we had him right now. Wow. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not discounting that. Imagine if you had a David Irvin right now. He makes your whole damn defense better, because that's why they call him the dinosaur, because 6'7", 300-some pounds, dog. And like you said, he's versatile. He can slide down the line. You can play him at the 1, the 3, the 5, 7. You could play him all them positions at that size. You don't find guys that big. He's almost like the Calais Campbell type, where you can move him around and he's just so damn big. He destructs offensive lines, and it makes it easier for everybody else. And that's what David Irvin did. So what we need is a dominant defensive tackle that can free other people.
I see some, because I'm looking at the draft list.
And you would know more than that about me right now, because I'm just now getting my feet wet with it. So you would know.
Well, I'm gonna just tell you one, and I know you'll do it too. And just look at this guy after the show.
All right.
Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. I've been watching him.
I've been hearing about him.
Yeah. Now he's so far the only one that I feel okay about. But the problem is he gonna be around 19, and we so high. I don't see it. I don't see us moving down like that. You know, it's especially the 19. If we stay at 3 or we finish around 8, we not go down. And I think he's gonna be around 19-ish. You know, unless he just really freaked the combine, he can. But in terms of us drafting a DT, I just want to start in that first round, just based on where we are right now. You know, I'll just get kind of going outside the box on it. My personal opinion, though, on DTs is I actually rather us pay for it, unless we get a steal like Gallimore, because Gallimore's a steal. But I'd rather go pretty much every year. If we got to have a DT, I'd rather us do it in free agency. Because from my analysis and my research and just me watching these guys, it take about 3 years in most cases for that DT to go and get his grown man legs. You know, I don't really have any hope in even first round DTs unless they're top 5 picks generally, because you don't see them. Those are the true wreckers and like true like freakish guys. But other than that, they're gonna be normal developers. You know. So I'd rather get like a Snacks or a Old Sue, right? Some people that are like Band-Aids, you know? And then if you have, unless you have like a guy that just fall out the sky like Gallimore, because see, Gallimore to me had a bottom first grade, top of the second grade. So when we got him in the third, I'm like, bro, you know, the dude was a freak. You know what I'm saying? I think he ran like a 4.6 or something at the combine, something stupid, like a 4.7, you know, just and that weight and that size, and we seeing it on the field now. And then it's gonna get better. But other than that, shoot, I'm gonna tell you what I feel like on the draft, just real quick. I'm gonna just say it straight up. I'm not hearing nobody tell me anything about a need. I don't want to hear about no needs. Oh, we need defense. We need a corner. I don't want to hear nothing like that. You know what I want us to do, Big James?
What's up?
I want us to do exactly what we did. Pure best player available. Because that netted us 5 starters as rookies. Like, why change that? Like, because I'm going to tell you, don't laugh. But if we still sitting around 3 or 4, you know how I think I want us to get, man? I'm serious, too.
What's that?
I said, you know who I want us to get if we
still Tell me.
Jamar Chase.
I mean, that's not nobody's mad at that. Wait a minute. Jamar Chase, that's the receiver, Jamar Chase? No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that, dog. I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't care how nasty it is. No.
What?
People call me stupid, dog, but I don't give a hell. I mean, you got a CD lamb. I'm not seeing that.
What I'm saying is, to me,
I'm not. I know. No, we need to really. They need to find a defensive mind. Number one,
get it, bro. Get it, because we got
winning. How, dog? I'm not hearing that, dog. We've been. They ain't even been going hard.
No. Dude, we got we got a second rounder that's gonna be a high second rounder, right? That's like a first, right? We also got 2 third rounders and 2 fourth rounders.
Not unless they do some willing and dealing with some kind of picks or something. No, I don't want to do that, though. I don't want no receiver. I know Jamar is nasty, but whatever. I don't know. I know
all the best corners last year.
I know he did, but you know what? No, not right now. That's not where my heart is at.
Okay. I'm gonna name a couple of defensive players, and you tell me. All right, hold on, because I got some good ones here. Mm-hmm. Let me just name out one, right? That's sitting around the top. Patrick Surtain from Alabama, the corner.
I like him.
Yeah,
and he's got the good bloodlines with his pops, because I watched his pops play when he was in Miami. I watched his pops play.
The bloodlines that make a big difference too,
the
bro.
Bloodlines was, and his dad was.
That make a big difference.
His dad was
nice. Winfield right now,
he's a dog.
is a dog, and he's a bloodline guy. To your point,
his daddy was a dog, and we
yeah,
knew that, and we knew one of the reasons why we knew he was going to be a dog because his dad was so good. You don't
right.
just be a dog like that in the NFL,
Excellent
and
point.
your son come in the trash. That
Yeah,
don't happen, dog, because
yeah,
he wants to outperform his daddy.
yeah, yeah. And this is a good corner class too. This is
Yeah,
a good
it is.
corner class.
So
Like
you
so,
any dope nasty corner to pair with Diggs. Oh hell
man.
yeah! And then
Yeah,
you still have something in Robinson. You feel what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
I
now you
mean,
feel. You
we
get
could
another
go
dog.
for
You get another dog corner with Diggs. You're
it.
feeling hella good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. With Tristan Hill coming back,
Yeah, Tristan Hill coming back from injury,
yeah, and
and
then
then
you
you.
got
I like the Hamilton kid. I ain't saying nobody special, but he a space eater and he young,
yeah,
and he's a big boy.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's a good backup guy. Like I
yeah,
said, if you could just get one dog right there. Here's the thing: if you get that one dog defensive tackle that's young, you can find one, boss. And let's say safety, even if you don't get a young dog. Sky had brought this up, and I heard it out there in the circles. Justin Simmons from the Broncos out there, they brought it up. If you could pair somebody like that, um with Woods, then you don't feel so far off because LVE, like you said, I like LVE. LVE is a good linebacker. He just got to stay healthy. That's my
right,
opinion. I feel like
yeah,
LVE. Who's the consensus going to say LVE is a whack linebacker? That's not a consensus. That's not true. It's the injury concern. If he can
right,
stay healthy, we feel
right,
good. As
right,
much as Jalen Smith has been maligned, and yes, he has. He's been doing goofy things. Things have been happening. He's still a good enough linebacker on your team where if you add another good one, you don't feel bad about your damn linebacking corpse. You feel me?
right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying going forward. And then you still have a D Law, which I don't know how long he's going to be, much longer he's going to be there, but you still have at least a few more years with D Law. You have a Randy Gregory who you probably could re-sign for the cheap. I don't know what's going to happen with the Alden Smith because I don't know the commitment from either side. But let's just say the hypothetical game that you kept Alden Smith on a low deal for 3 years, right? You got Gallimore on a rookie deal. You got Tristan Hill coming back on a rookie deal. You could probably maybe spin an Antoine Woods. So if you look at pieces, you just get a few dogs, then you're not far off, especially with your defense playing better the last 2 games. To your point, when we talked about Mike Nolan, we don't know if he's going to be here from year and beyond because we were saying, let's get rid of him. But
Yeah,
now
I wanted him out.
You jump back and look and say, well,
yeah, I really did.
The ranking has come up to the 20th ranked as far as like total scoring defense, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The rankings have all come up. You have hope, and you have a lot of young players. To your point again, the 2020 draft, you damn near have everybody playing. So you
Everybody.
Let's get some Connor McGovern in there some more. Then you
I agree.
2019. So you got 2 of your drafts. You're playing a lot. 2018's playing a little bit. So your drafts are starting to come together. You're gonna have to nail this if you have a high pick with maybe Wheeling and Dillon. You got to nail it. But now you don't feel so far off from defense if you can get a couple young dogs, in my opinion. I know you said the Band-Aid, but I want a young dog.
You want a young D lineman?
I want a young dog. I don't want to deal with the Band-Aids no more. With
the only way I would do it or want to do it is if it's a top 5 guy, and there's no true top 5 DTs this draft.
Yeah, true, and that's true.
So it's but on a year that it is, I would agree with you on that. Like when we can get one because it's top 5. You know, free DTs almost like free tackles and awesome quarterbacks. They don't come around that much. So you're right. Like while we sitting in top 5, if we could, I would. Like if it was that's Sap, get Sap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If that's my boy out of U of H, Ed Oliver, get him. You know what I mean? Get him. You know. But other than them types, nah, I'm good. You know.
I feel you on that. I feel you. Okay, so shout out to my guy Jim Laws for the $2 donation. Appreciate you, Jim, for that. He also said he'd like to see that offensive line get built up.
Yeah,
particularly
talking about my boy out of Oregon, Sewell.
Yeah, you know, I want to trade picks though.
You want to trade picks? What you mean?
I want to get picks. I want us to get because you can wheel and deal. Now I know this is the guy that they saying that can be the can't miss guy. We seen what happened with Tyron Smith going with the neck surgery. I've already said about him. I don't have to say it no more about Tyron Smith, about the feelings, no hate, but the feelings I've had with the Tyron Smith thing. You don't know what's up with La'el Collins with the hip, and you're a big man. So we can say whatever we want, but that's a hip injury. So he's an unknown because we still is like so in the dark
Good
to me
point.
about the La'el Collins situation.
Good point.
Um,
So you basically saying we might need two. Like
I don't
really
know.
not two tackles, but you saying we tackle is an absolute need, basically.
Tackle's a need, man, because we can't keep fooling ourselves that Tyron Smith is going to just miraculously recover from this neck surgery when you've had back problems damn near your whole career. Now you're having a neck. So you're having a neck in your back. Like, hey, we know about the joke. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to get better, boss. You feel me? It's not going to get better. It's not going to miraculously get better. And I don't see Tyron Smith playing another 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a point. See, because I was gonna fight you on that, but then you really raised a good point about Liel with us really not knowing. So that in terms of really what he's gonna be, the people that would know that better than anybody would be the Cowboys. So it'll be a hypothetical how we would probably have to go back and forth on it. So let's say if his hip is on schedule to be good, right? Then I would say tackle is not as an urgent need because I think still going into year 2, especially with a whole year starting and a whole off season.
Not with your strength conditioning, not with your strength conditioning guy.
Well, he should get stronger, but you're right. It's a big chance that he'll get injured under the strength and conditioning guy. But I feel good about him and Knight going into year 3, still going into year 2. I know that we have excellent, at least this, we have excellent swing tackles.
Yeah.
That's a good problem. So just like we have starter problem, but we have great depth. So Sewell would be so responsible. It would be like a very responsible response, and it almost might. But this is my only thing on Sewell for my film so far. I'll just being honest, okay? I'm being all the way honest. I think Sewell is obviously the top tackle in this draft, but in last year's draft, I think he would have been round 4, the 4th or 5th best one. So from that standpoint, that still make me want to go with just the best pure player available, whoever that might be.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting because, as you said, at the beginning of the season, we were looking like, yeah, we're going to be in the top 5. But now we've seen some life from the team. The defense got a little better and played a legit team in Pittsburgh. I'm not going to say they're the Super Bowl favorites or nothing like that. But, I mean, hey, they are undefeated. They do have a good team. Dallas played them to the very end. Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think they're a good team, but they do have a good talent.
Yeah.
And Dallas still played with them. And we think, well, damn, I'm gonna call my own mistake. And was people was like, put in Gilbert, and I was like, hell no, he gonna get killed. Well, damn, maybe they should have put in Gilbert. We probably would have won that game if you had damn DiNucci in there. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the game you could have won if you had Gilbert. So you never know. So that's an interesting thing. We'll see. The good thing about this, before we tackle a few positions, is that going forward, you have a lot of young blood on the team, and I will give the front office this, that they have kept the young players recycled. We don't have an old team, even when you had Zach Martin. Remember we had those guys and they were in the young years and Dallas was feeling good. Now they're getting, not in their older years, but they get what they call their prime years, and then they start to downtrend. But we still have enough young players behind them with talent for a good makeup to where you feel like, damn, the cover is just bare. We're not looking at that situation with the Cowboys. You may have some positions that you want to fill, but the cover is definitely not bare by any means on this team. So that's the good thing. Even when we saw Boss in 2015, right? When Dallas was in 2015, when they were 4-12, you didn't look at that team and say, well, damn, this team is a terrible 4-12. No, you said, damn, this team is a few pieces away from being right back in the playoffs because this is a good team. They just had some bad injury problems. Maybe we can look at this team right here, boss. Okay.
No doubt we can.
Maybe we can look at this team right here and say, this could be reminiscent of that. Maybe not with the offensive line, but maybe with the talent in the young players that, well, they had a lot of injuries, but they got a lot of hope. So maybe this could, a few players away in the draft, like happened in 2016, boss, that could catapult this team right back into the talk of contention in 2021. What's your thoughts?
There's no doubt. I mean, and I think the Achilles heel is what we talked about last week, man. Strength and conditioning coach. Honestly, like we talked about it, and then look, boop, Tyler Badass out from pregame, hamstring. Then Diggs out. It's happening over and over. It is no coincidence in that. And I actually talked to a friend of mine as an NFL trainer, Ronnie Braxton, about that today. He said, boss, you absolutely right. I'm a trainer. I train these guys. He said, none of my guys get injured is because of how I train them. So yeah, you're right. We are a sneaky good team talent-wise. And we got to find a way to first get these players on the field and keep them on the field. So I think our number one thing, even in the offseason, is going to be number one. The number one thing we need to do, in my opinion, is get rid of the strength and conditioning coach. Put a lot of money and a lot of resources and thought into who that replacement is going to be. Because this guy can't be a guy that's just good at getting you bulk and looking good in your shorts. We need a guy that know how to keep these guys flexible, that know how to keep these guys healthy, that's outside the box, but also doing stuff that just flat out work. And the good thing about a strength and conditioning coach is almost like the game of football. Numbers don't lie, right? The team with the best numbers go win that game. It's the same thing with strength and conditioning coaches. Your track record follows you. So injuries follow you if you somebody that's a bad trainer, but if your guys that you train tend to not get injured, then those are the guys that we need to go after, So I think that's like first and foremost, but I think you also hit it like soup on the head, how we sneakily like 2015. Perfectly said. That was a good team that needed a couple of pieces. This is still a good team that need a couple of pieces, and it's going to take off, but it's actually paused to get even more of a steroid shot than 2016. Because that 2016, to your point, obviously brought in Dak, Zeke, Jalen, up and down, right now. But at the same time, he was at that time considered a steal, We're going to have way more cracks at it, having 2 third-rounders and 2 fourth-rounders, and especially if we go with BPA and stick with that strategy. I just don't see how you watch us right now literally have 5 rookies either start or get significant playing time and abandon the strategy. Nah, I don't want. If anybody even hears, I don't even want to hear stuff like, "Well, we need the best player according to need." I don't want to hear it. I want it to be clearly like it was last year. This is the clear best player. We'll see if we get lucky on down the draft and see if some other people fall that we felt like wasn't go fall, because they didn't feel like Diggs was go fall.
Right. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought, Diggs had a first round grade. I didn't think Diggs was going to last either. That was a godsend. Him and Gallimore falling the way they did, and even Bradley not. And let's keep it real, Tyler Biadasz, because Tyler Biadasz was highly rated. So that was a great. That's the one thing we can say. We can't give the front office, whoever was involved in that, Mike McCarthy. 2020 is looking okay so far for the Cowboys with their draft.
Right.
We looked back at 2019 and we was like, man, that 2019 draft was looking like hot garbage. You get what I'm saying? But we can't say this about this 2020 draft. But we got some pieces in the 2019 draft. You know what I mean? Who can still young, can get on this train, and you got Donovan Wilson in there. You got Tristan Hill, who I like coming back. Who else we had in there? Who?
Pollard.
Tony Pollard. He had 9 carries, 57 yards. We've seen when he can get some carries, what he can do. Connor McGovern in his short time, he showed that he could play.
Yeah. Oh, let me go back to that. Because
let's talk about the offensive line then. Let's just jump right in.
Yeah, bro. Because I want to bring that up because that's not getting enough headway to me. At this point,
he's got to play, man.
I think you so right on McGovern, bro. Like, I mean, like when the play was on the line and Connor Williams just got bullied. It's like,
and here's the thing, Connor Williams hasn't played bad this year. He has not. If you look at his stats, he's only given up 2 sacks, the one bad one. And before that, he hadn't given up a sack in 5 games. This is actually his best year statistically, boss. Like, this is his best year all the way around. But this is just the problem, boss. He's not a natural guard. No hating on Connor Williams.
Yeah.
Second round draft pick. He's gotten better as far as what we saying from the guard aspect, in my opinion, because he was more of a tackle. He never really played the guard in college like that the way he's playing it in the pros. So the transition, and he was underweight. I don't feel like he had the natural power because he was more the athletic guy, and that's why they had him at tackle because he could move his hips, he could move it, he had good feet. For what he's doing, he's having a statistically good year. My problem is the 2019 staff or whatever, you drafted Connor McGovern. It'd be different if Connor McGovern came in and was trashy. He didn't come in and show he was trashy. He came in and showed me strength. Right. And when you play in the guard position, you need strength. When you play in the tackle position, you got to have some strength, but you got to be athletic. You get what I'm saying? So Connor Williams is more athletic than strong. Connor McGovern's more strong, maybe than more athletic. So y'all need to figure out this left guard position down the line. Y'all have to figure this out because this line, we like you said, we have swing tackles in Brandon Knight and Terrence Steele. We know this. Whether we see Terrence Steele starting, he needs to sit down. But going forward, you can at least say he's a swing tackle and he's young. So you can say you got two swing tackles. If La'el Collins rehabs and he comes back and he's good, that's a big if. But let's say he comes back, you have a right tackle, right? You have Zach Martin at your right guard. You feel solidified with Tyler Biadasz, you think, at center. The left guard and the left tackle is where the iffy parts are. But you got to figure this out because Connor McGovern has got to get on this field. Because here's the thing. This is what disappointed me, boss, in that Philly game. When they had the opportunity and they put Terrence Steele out there and Brandon Graham had a good time against Terrence Steele, like a lot of teams did, gave up 3 sacks that game. But the point was, Fletcher Cox, we get it. Nasty dog in the middle. But don't tell me that Washington defensive line wasn't nasty either. That Washington front is young and nasty.
That's the worst one.
That's what's carrying them. So why can't we see you have one more game, kick out? I know Zach Martin, you don't want to play right tackle. Why couldn't we see you one more game? I know Mike McCarthy, we want continuity. Let's see one more game with kick him out at right tackle. Connor McGovern, let's see how he does against Fletcher Cox. If he can bang with this guy, you feel like you have somebody, and then you really have to look at something down the line because he was not getting moved in that Washington game. And I keep going back to it. That's why I want to see him play against some of these other big boys.
That's the game that should expose you. Like if you ain't got nothing to you, and
you get thrown around in them games. Yo, dog, you're getting thrown around.
The game, bro. That's the game, bro. That's the game that I always give Zeke hell, bro. Every time, bro. I don't remember Zeke going 100 on him ever. Right? That's the hardest game to get pushed. The Washington Redskins. That's the best front seven probably in the league. Who better? I mean, front four. For real. Like, who better? Like, seriously.
That's all I'm saying. Like, you want the reason why they got, and now boss, because remember when they drafted, remember you said I don't know about Connor McGovern because me and you've been going back and forth on Connor McGovern when they drafted him. You was like, and I was like, no, dog, look, I watch the Big Ten football because I'm out here in Big Ten country, so I get to see these offensive linemen. I'm not no offensive lineman guru by no means, but I seen that dude was moving people and he was more of a mauler type. And where was the Dallas Cowboys good when they were having those good teams? We were stout in that middle. When we had Ron Leary, why do we like Ron Leary so much? Because you couldn't move him. And when you had him playing next to Tyron Smith, Zeke Elliott was eating those rush lanes because, they're good in some pass coverage, but it's the rush lanes where we struggle. And where does Connor Williams struggle? In the run game. Because he doesn't have that strength to move those guys out the way to create the rush lanes. Zeke has to get rerouted. Next thing you know, boom, tackle. And then you've got a Cam Fleming who's not your guy of the future, or Cam Irving. He's not the guy of your future. Although he's played admirably, he's not somebody that's a dog out there. So you see where Zeke Elliott is struggling because you don't have that strength in that middle. So come on, y'all. Get McGovern, get this big boy in here and
cover, man.
We need power in that middle to get this running game, because if you can get that running game just helping a little bit, we saw a little bit of it. It helped that quarterback, and then we can complete some passes out there, man. The pressure up the middle, it hurts on the outside, but we can't get no running lanes because they can't run block.
And then I have a feeling, especially, my thing is this, like Gilbert, in terms of a starter, was he immaculate? No. Did he throw a lot of high balls that was catchable? Hell yeah, right? But they was like off, right? But it was what he did as a first-time starter. to where you say if that was your performance as a first-time starter, how much more when the game kind of slow down for you when you kind of get past these jitters, right? That's the exact same way I see McGovern from the Redskins game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this is how you play with this front,
right?
How much more
see more
if they give you more reps?
More reps like we just seen with Gallimore.
Donovan Wilson, like the same example. And see, and I want to say one thing too, Big Game James.
Go ahead.
Just as my homeboy, my big brother. Man, don't ever doubt your eyes. I don't care if it's Brian Brothers. I don't care who it is, bro. Don't ever, because like I had, and I'm saying that like because I've done it. And I totally stopped doing it. You know what I mean? Because Big James, you call it like it is, man. You will see it right on Donovan Wilson. And then like some of these guys, and I'm not knocking them guys because they get paid to do it. You know, I'm just saying some of them also have the pressure of being under the Dallas Cowboys as a check.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't. The people that keep you going is the people that throw them super chats in and them dollars at us, right? So we can just say it like no filter. And I was so glad that you just called it out because like Donovan Wilson was like McGovern where we was calling for it. And then when he get his chance, we all say, yeah, I knew he wasn't crazy.
I mean, I was saying like everybody else
gonna happen with McGovern. When he finally get his chance, everybody go act like, where he been? We say, man, Big James been sounding that and beating that drum for a minute.
I've been on it, like, you know what I'm saying? And I've been saying this class, it hasn't been good, but it can be good. Shout out to my guy, Rat Pat Mills. He said, great show. Y'all guys are doing a hell of a job tonight, man. I really appreciate you for the shout out like that. Really appreciate all you guys. Shout out to my guy Wink in the comments. Always comes with the great comments. Shout out to my guy ABAC. A lot of people are commenting. Jim Laws, Let's Go Yee, Paul Rogue, Jay Jones, David Green. Some of the people that just in the feed is getting more and more. We're really rolling ball. So let's keep it let's keep it going because man, it's booming up in the chat. Let's keep it rolling. You guys are
no disrespect to the Native Americans when I say Redskins.
No disrespect as well.
None at all. You know, it was a slip, you know what I'm saying? And I do want to respect the change because if it does offend anybody, I'm open to change it. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about some positions, big dog. Let's talk about the position that everybody's been talking about. Well, a lot of people have been talking about lately. I've been seeing videos on it. People have been, you know, hey, it's not fair to Zeke. It's been the back and forth with this, with Zeke Elliott. What are your kind of thoughts? I mean, once again,
I predicted this was gonna happen, man, because this is the thing I think we all got to realize with the Dallas Cowboys. It's always gonna be a villain. So, and they're going to go after your best guys. They do that all the time. So when Dak was here, he was the villain. He was the guy that it doesn't matter what he did. It was always some kind of fabricated issues and drama. It's now on Zeke. Remember this. Zeke at the last minute was able to play on a bad hamstring. Okay. So this was not 100% Zeke that we just saw. Right, but the media don't tell the whole truth. Just like they say this, Dak should have won that game versus Philly last year because Carson Wentz, he was only playing against practice squad players. See, but that's fabricated. That's just for TV. Because if those guys were so trash, why did Boston Scott get NFC Player of the Month? The month, right? So, and then you got Ward. If he was so trash, why did they send off Aguilar, or whatever his name is, to the Raiders? They still starting Ward. So if he was trash, why he still starting? Right. And then people forget that Dak had to have 2 shots in his shoulder from that AC joint injury. And the week before, he had a fractured finger on his throwing arm. Is that really the game you want to count against Dak? You know what I mean? You know, like obviously, if you play, we want you to play good, but every now and then, the guys around you got to carry you. So what they did on this manufactured drama, they waited till it was an anomaly game to where Pollard did what he does. He hit some explosive plays, really expanded his yards per carry, and Zeke out there playing on a hard hamstring, right? But he out there giving it and balling up to his ability, right? And then they say, "Oh, should we fire Zeke?" Come on, man. Like Zeke's still on pace for 1,000 yards, right? And they still
but 1,000 yards. But here's the thing, though: 1,000 yards, and I'm play the devil's advocate on this. Okay,
yeah.
so we can have some because 1,000 yards for a back is nothing now. See, 1,000 yards back in the day when I was watching football coming up in the '90s. Oh, if you were 1,000 yard back, you were doing something. Now, dog, if you're these elite backs getting paid the elite money, you need to be getting 14 to 15, 14, 15 to 1,500 yards like the McCaffreys, the Kamars. You have to getting at least the 13. I'm saying at least 1,400 if you're in the upper echelon of getting paid of backs. Now we get it. Offensive line isn't great, but this is where I come to this point, and I want to ask you this: Zeke has got a lot of the blame, and I don't say pull Zeke, but at the end of the day, he hasn't played to where he hasn't played upper echelon football as far as the turnovers, the drop passes. Yes, the offensive line has not been good, and we've seen the tape. I've watched the tape. Offensive line, well, I just said the run blocking isn't great. But here's my thing. I want to ask you, boss.
Mm-hmm.
So is Zeke only good because of his offensive line?
No. And that's been tested in 2018. Because remember, that was the year that we had what was my guy that came from the Texans that played the left guard? With the long hair, you know what I'm talking about, but
yes.
that was also out, right? So that was in the middle.
What the hell is his name? Somebody say it in the chat. Somebody in the chat will say
I don't know why I can't remember his name, but he was so trash. I ain't gonna call him trash because none of those guys trash. But he was not ideal because you was cut from the worst team, offensive line team, which was the Texans. How you get cut from the Texans and then we start
Suafulo.
Yeah, Suafulo.
Appreciate you, Wink.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so Suafulo starting at left guard 2018. You got Looney in the middle, which we both know, and I totally came around and agree with you all the way with that Looney's back up, right? Mm-hmm. So you got him at center, right? And that's another year that Zeke was the rushing champ. Like if Zeke only get 1,000 yards this year, this would be his first year that he didn't get 1,400. This first, you know. So
yeah, besides his suspension year.
Yeah, besides the suspension year, and we all know he would have got it that year. He was clearly on pace. So it's one of those things to where I think we all got to sometimes be careful of what we wish for, because sometimes there are some people that's trying to be, I was right. Let me tell you something. If you got to wait 4 years to say you was right, you was wrong. You see what I'm saying? If you got to wait 4 years to say, oh, well, I knew we should have drafted Jalen Ramsey. Damn, you waited 4 years to say that?
Right.
That means you was wrong. Because you didn't say nothing about them times he was easily 3 times rushing champ, you know. And I'm not saying that he hasn't taken some kind of step back. What I'm saying is this is to me the wrong time to overanalyze should we keep him or not. If the man decided to play with a bad hamstring and no, he did not look exactly like old Zeke, but he was still this type of Zeke in terms of body punches to that defense. Now that was the same.
Mm-hmm.
Tough running, all that. Yeah. And so I'm not gonna beat a man when he finally had an off 8 games. When you done gave me a on 40. Damn, I mean, come on, you know. So it's like, yeah, like even if this is a bad year, let my man get his quarterback back where he'll be more balanced. He already paid for. And if you do draft another running back that you feel like can be just as good, now your options can do something with Zeke. But I don't want to hear about no getting rid of no Zeke until we have a Zeke replacement in the building. That's obvious. And Pollard and Zeke is not obvious. Don't trick yourself like Pollard is going to be that tough on the defense type back like Zeke. Because Zeke make it hard on that D. Pollard make it hard on their legs. They're totally different styles.
I will totally agree with you in that aspect. And I got a guy in here, Quentin Cornett says, boss says, I love your content, but I notice you like to make excuses for Dak and Zeke. Why not hold them accountable like everyone else?
I mean, I don't never think I'm an excuse type guy. I think I'm a reasonable guy. That's what I think I am. And I think I call it like I see it. So like one of the things that I said about Dak that he needed to work on going into this year, right, was his mobility in the pocket and his pocket presence. So I never was a guy that said that Dak didn't need to work on anything. So, but when I saw him work on those things, I gave him credit for those things. And I'm also just being 100% honest when I also said, yes, you can see that where Zeke is not what he was when he first came into the league, but don't fool yourself to think that somebody that's taking that type of pounding and that hardly leave games is also not rare. Look, somebody that's taking a load like Zeke is already injured by now. And you just go look at McCaffrey. Go look at all these guys that we just love on for just 1 year. But the dude that been pretty consistent from day one up until now is Zeke. And now I'm not giving him any excuses. How about I give him some credit? That's what I'm really doing, giving him some credit. Because, see, let's not act like people weren't saying, even Jerry himself, he was saying he's the straw that stirs the cup. He wasn't saying that because he was a mark. He wasn't saying that because he was weak. He was saying that because Zeke was a damn dog. So I'm not going to just wait till he having a damn moment to be like, okay, he ain't shit, let's get rid of him. I'm going to say this is not looking like same old Zeke. Let me see if he get past his helmet and can get back. And then I'm going to reevaluate. And I'm going to be honest. If I feel like one of these young backs can do it and we can get some assets for Zeke, I'm pro Dallas. Zeke is gone. And when it comes to Dak, I'm going to say this. Don't be crazy to think Dak grow on trees, homie.
Don't say that. I mean, I not
like see everybody that. Like to say, like, you know, anybody can do what Dak can do. This whole quarterback roller coaster should show that was a crazy theory. At this point, listen, Dak was on pace for 6,600 yards. That has never happened in the history of the NFL. Y'all think Lawrence gonna come in here and do that?
Man, dog, okay. I'm gonna bounce off you because you were spitting some fire over here. You made me come over to the I was on the dark side. It wasn't the dark side of let's replace Zeke with Tony Pollard. I was never on that dark side. I'm not stupid. Okay. No. What I'm saying is I want to see Tony Pollard get some more carries because I feel like he's an asset to the team. So I just want to see him get involved more in the game. Not take anything away from Zeke because Zeke is still a dog. Is he the same back when he came out in 2016? No, because I've seen him at Ohio State. He's not that same fast guy. He's not breaking them 40-yarders no more. He's not doing that. But he's still a power back. He's still bruising you. He's still getting those tough, dirty yards, especially if you get him a little bit of room. He's pressing that. He will press that hole, and he will put the boom on those guys, and he's still doing that. And I want to see a good combination with them too, where you can keep that rumbling on that line going. So to your and the biggest thing that you said is really the biggest thing for any running back. He's staying on the field.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that I can say about Zeke, even with a hamstring injury. He still played and he hasn't missed a game yet. Physically, right? He hasn't missed a game yet, right? He hasn't missed one game yet. And if we look at all these other running backs, even how nasty Dalvin Cook is, he's had knee injuries. Yep. We talk about Kamara. He's been hurt. We talk McCarthy. He's hurt again. Saquon Barkley, torn ACL. He's out. David Johnson, who was one of the top backs, he just got put on IR. So these running backs are all hurt. So that's what we have to give credit. And that's where you can say, well, he earned that money. I'm still didn't like how they paid him and didn't pay your Dak because Dak deserved that bread. I don't like how they did it like that. But you pay your people to stay on the field. That's one of the reasons why you pay them, boss, right? And even I think when they had in Sean Lee's contract, while you are hurt, we're not going to pay you. Right. Because you've been hurt too much. So one of the reasons why they pay people money is your availability. So to that point, you can't say nothing about Zeke. The dude is there every single week. And he does a job. So I just want to see let's just get this offensive line fixed up. But I don't make noise. I just don't like how they did the contract with Zeke Elliott. But I will ask you this point right quick before we talk about we're going to talk about this receiver position because a couple people brought it up, and my dog Katie Drummer wrote an article about it. But I want to ask you this: Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard. You think they win more games than a Zeke Elliott and a DiNucci or a Dalton or a Gary Gilbert?
Dak and Pollard
with this team. If let's say Zeke was out for a season knee injury, right, and Dak played this whole season, you just had Tony Pollard. This team, you feel comfortable going for, and would you win games? Or what the situation we have now? We see when we saw Dak fall, the whole team fell, and Zeke ain't able to carry this team. The running back position is not able to carry this team with Dak out.
Yeah, and I never believed that the quarterback position never carried the team. I never subscribed to that. ever. I think it helped, but it never carried because every year Dak was way more in yards, way more touchdowns, and sometimes he matched Zeke in rushing touchdowns a lot of years. So the engine of the team has always been the quarterback, always. But yes, I absolutely believe that Dak would now definitely be successful even without Zeke because Dak has grown as a quarterback. Like obviously when he got into the league, he had to be safer and he was smart with the football. That's why his touchdown to interception ratio broke all kind of rookie records and all kind of stuff that didn't even ever happen before. But that was smart, intelligent football for where he was in his development. He was a rookie, so he made safe throws, right? But he was good and effective at it. That's when you needed Zeke at his best. But now you got a Dak that can easily diagnose and read a defense. You got a Dak that would just throwing holes. I mean, killing them DBs, man. And he's anticipating them routes and going through his reads so easy. You can clearly see the game has slowed down to Dak. So at this point, the pressure is he don't need a running back to take pressure off like he
Not
did.
any longer.
No, not now. Not at this point. Not year four.
That's where we say the shift has finally changed now, in my opinion, because I will say that Dak needed Zeke Elliott early in his career. He did need that running game from Zeke Elliott. The team needed that running game from Zeke Elliott. And this is no slight. Please understand, no slight and no disrespect on Zeke now, but I feel like Dak has took that next step to where he doesn't need Ezekiel Elliott. Like if Ezekiel Elliott were to go down, God forbid, or anything like that, the team could still cook with a decent back like a Tony Pollard, or you can add somebody else. The team could win with Dak because I feel like Dak can win games on his own now. He doesn't need the help of Ezekiel Elliott like he needed before. Now you have Ezekiel Elliott with him is devastating because now that's that great 1-2 combo. But Dak can win games by himself, and that's what I believe a lot of people. I don't care about your Dak haters. I don't even listen to you guys because y'all irrelevant because you don't bring no good stuff. But when you see now, one of the things that we like, we need to see Dak be able to win these games. And even though we didn't win games this year, you could see, dog, if that defense had any resemblance of the defensive play the last 2 weeks with Dak Prescott, we'd have won some more games. Don't tell me we wouldn't have.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to hate on Dak, and they always look for the easiest low hanging fruit negative to throw at him and blame him on. Like they'll say we was 1-3 with Dak. And and they'll say this: we should have been 0-4 if Atlanta wasn't stupid. Well, we could have also been 4-0.
Exactly, we definitely could have.
Get the Gallup cheat that happened game one with Dak hit him on that dime. Let's not forget that Dak put us ahead on Seattle in the fourth quarter, but then defense gave up that bomb. That should have been 2-0. Then 3-0 would have been Atlanta. Then 4, like on the Browns where he put us back in it, and then defense let us down.
Defense let us down, and the offense let us down with he brought us right back. Man,
we could have been 4-0. Like everybody like to say we should have been 0-4. We really could have been 4-0 with the performances he put up. It was no doubt, bro. Like, and then everybody gets silly and they act like garbage times. They say garbage time stats. Listen,
I hate that BS, man.
There's no such thing. Listen, that's a myth. Like, and then they say people playing pre-fit defense. Listen, you're insulting me when you say that.
Tell him you play. That's what tell him you play the position so we know.
So I'm telling you, I know schemes. I know defensive schemes and what our responsibility is in prevent. You do not even call prevent defense until the end of the second half or end of the fourth quarter when the offense is trying to go for a Hail Mary and you back everybody up. That's a real prevent defense. So what y'all call it prevent defense, not even prevent defense. Defensive coordinators get compensated heavily to keep offenses under a certain threshold. And believe me, they coaching for their money.
Believe bonuses for that stuff.
They get bonuses, so they not out there trying to make it easy on the offense to score. That's a dumb theory.
Tell them, boss.
It don't happen. So like all this stuff we make up to even hate on our own quarterback is honestly ridiculous.
Tell them.
So it's just one of those things to where Dak is and should be the future of the Cowboys, and we should be extremely appreciative and feel very lucky. And what's really going on is that it's a lot of offense at Dak still over Romo. That's what's really going on. There's a certain amount of our fans that treat Romo and Dak like Republicans and Democrats. It is like, no, it don't matter what the other side say, you just ain't gonna like them. And at some point, we got to grow up and figure out that we all American and that we all Dallas Cowboys. I'm more of an American than I'm a Democrat, independent, or a Republican, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy, so I back Romo and I back Dak. And guess what? I was backing Gilbert. You know what I'm saying? And
I was backing Gilbert. I was backing the new. I was backing Dalton. Everybody that comes in there, I've been backing. I mean, even when we had bums in there, I'm like, hey, it's the Cowboys. We never know. Something can happen. I mean, I didn't think Garrett Gilbert was going to do anything, but I still wasn't like, oh, you know, I hate you, Gilbert. I don't want you to do anything. I want you to still succeed because you're playing for the Cowboys. You feel what I'm saying? Damn it, Brandon Whedon. Come on, man.
When I started balling, I ain't start being like, is he gonna take Dak job? Right. Dak don't deserve this. If he end up balling Dak, I'd be like, damn, that's unfortunate. But this man is Gilbert. Yeah. Because this is first. And see, I also got to say, well, I'm wrong. You know, I was wrong at Mike Nolan. Yeah. The Joneses was right. You know, and when it's because if I go hard on the Joneses, I got to go hard on me too. If I said I was wrong, I was wrong on that. So far, like at first,
don't say you're wrong. We seen some.
I was impatient. I would say
we'll say we're impatient, but let's not sit there. The season ain't over.
Yeah, so he gave me great evidence to want him out. But at the same time, when he starts turning,
he's turning.
I got to turn too.
Right, I'm not. I ain't fully turned though. I'm not fully turned.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, I know he raised my eyebrow. That's what Mike Nolan done. He's raised my eyebrow, and I haven't hated on Mike Nolan this whole damn time. You feel me, big dog? But I'm just like, yeah, I know you have. I'm just saying I raised my eyebrow for the effort, and it looks like he's putting players, and I'm hearing the guys saying the coaches are putting us in the positions to succeed. So I feel like there's some listening going on in the meeting room. There's some listening, some good exchanging going on of where we need to be better. Where I'm better right here. Or
it's some good back and forth. You can see it because
you've been in the meeting, so you already know. You've been in the meeting, right?
Him in the press box.
Well, right, right, and that's just showing, and that's why, boss, we should at least be happy with this staff. We might be. Let's keep it real. We can't be happy with this record, right? But we can at least be happy that we would have never saw that from Garrett and them. Defense not playing good. You need to come down on the field and start interjecting with the players. Isn't that we didn't see that before? So we should be happy with it. We didn't see players get benched.
No,
we would be crying for players to get benched. They never got players got benched. We didn't see players getting cut and traded.
Yep, we seeing that. You're right. Yeah, even though we got a funky smell from the win-loss standpoint, you still can see a silver lining and light. You know, you can see light. It looked like we still got to make a couple of changes in terms of obviously the strength and conditioning. Some personnel changes, but like you say, you can definitely see there's some good back and forth going on, some great back and forth, because we seeing those changes that we've been calling for fast. And I don't think definitely Big James rock like this, and I don't rock like this. If we seeing the changes, we go both celebrate it, you know. And
and I ain't got no problem saying I'm wrong. I didn't.
Yeah. Because at the end of this, we want to put the information out there, and hopefully stuff go viral that we say that's gonna put us in a winning position. That's all we're really doing. Like Big Game James has a big voice in Cowboy world now, and you just never know. And I do too. And you never know when one of our ideas can really kind of maybe even penetrate the organization. So it's about the Cowboys, right? It's about the Cowboys, and so I want everybody to just peep real quick that, like, yes, we was critical of the Joneses, but then we also turned around and we were just critical of ourselves. So because if I get it wrong, I got to be the type man that can also say I got it wrong. You know what I mean? And I got to also say that they starting to get it right. You know, so in some of them,
they make some good. They've done a good way around. They just annoying as hell. They always in the middle of it. They just annoying as hell. But when you look at how they do the money, we're going to talk about this contract, and my dog brought it up. let's just jump to it right now. Let me give a shout out to my dog right here. You've been spitting fire, boss, by the way. Just want to give you a shout out on that. Shout out to my guy Jay Jones for the $2 holler, $40 million a year. Yes, Dak has proved his worth. I mean, you got to pay this man. This is our franchise quarterback. He's not a 35-year-old franchise quarterback. He's a 27-year-old franchise quarterback with a lot of years who's just going to continue to get better. This was the year I wanted to see if this, and he's proved it to me. Like a few first couple of years, I never doubted him, but I was like, come on, Dak. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm tired of hearing these people talking this trash. I'm gonna keep it real. This year solidified it. Like it was there. My love for Dak never went, him being our quarterback, but it solidified it when I seen this play this year, boss. It solidified. So I'm like, Dak's elite to me. He's if I name the top quarterbacks right now, dog, top 5, if I name Mahomes, if I name Russell Wilson, I can damn sure name Dak Prescott in that.
No doubt.
I can damn sure name Dak Prescott in that.
No doubt.
Yes, I can.
No doubt.
Like, but let's talk about something right quick. Bobby McLean says, "What's up to you, boss Cowboys?" But I got a little thing right here. Katie Drummond brought something up.
All right.
A player, I can't remember the name. I don't pay no attention to what the Eagles say, but it was in the news. Saying Amari Cooper likes to sulk. He don't even be in the games. Woo-woo, a lot of people like to get on Amari because of that demeanor, and it's easy for them to do that. My guy, Katie Drummond, wrote an article and said, should the Cowboys think about trading Amari Cooper this offseason? And if you see the way his contract is set up, they don't front load a lot of his contract. They made it easy for I was listening to his podcast. Shout out to him on his podcast, him and my guy, Patrick Walker, with that Fire podcast. He was saying that the way his deal is structured, that he's the easiest one for them to cut if they were to let anyone go with high salary. And he said the Dallas need to look into it because right now they are not under enough the cap to sign Dak Prescott to a franchise. If they the franchise tag him, Dallas doesn't have enough money under the cap. What's your thoughts? Would you contemplating trading Amari Cooper if somebody were to give you a good offer?
It would have to be a hell of an offer.
What kind of offer?
I mean, first.
So you wouldn't do let's say somebody said, I got a second and a fourth for you, Amari Cooper. You ain't taking it?
No. I don't trust any number ones yet. Not yet. I want to see more. Because, see, once you unload a number one, that puts pressure on everybody. That puts pressure on the running game. That puts pressure on the number 2 and the number 3 receiver, and it puts pressure on that quarterback. We got us a true number one. So I wouldn't do it. I'd rather them just pay Dak, damn it. Just pay Dak. And see, because another way you can do it, instead of trying to unload an asset to pay Dak, you can just go ahead and pay Dak and give him a contract where you can actually spread those hits out and not have cap hits reflect all at once like a tag would. Now, if you want to play games and tag, then you're going to have to be manipulative and start unloading assets and forcing people to be number ones that they might not be. Because even though Gallup is showing indications of a number one, it might go downhill when that number one corner is following him every game like they doing Cooper. It makes a big difference when the top corner every game is facing you. Believe it. So, and just think about it. Let's just all be honest. Gallup was on this team before Cooper, and he did not look good until Cooper. That wasn't by accident. That was because he went from facing top corners to facing the number 2 corner and the nickelbacks. That makes a big difference in your win ratio. So, like, before you get rid of a number one, I always say this: never get rid of a number one until you got a sure number one in the building.
So you don't have a sure number one in CeeDee Lamb?
I don't think so. Not yet.
What?
Not yet. Like, they got to develop into that. I don't know. He not a number one now. No. I think it's gonna take him about to year 3 to be that. And I researched this when we was kind of going through that stuff with Dez, because I was trying to figure out the best transition, right? What's going to be the best way to get another receiver. And that's when, obviously Ridley was up and DJ Moore was topping the draft. And it was a kind of debate on should we do DJ Moore, Ridley. So I started looking at the best way to acquire a receiver. And what I found in my research is that 95% of receivers that was drafted, but drafted under an existing number one, real number one, end up becoming the number one. But when you was drafted to be what I call a hero, meaning it was no real number one on that team, but they was drafting you to kind of take the full leverage to be the go-to guy of this quarterback, you succeeded only 5% of the time. So that's also why I'm for Chase. Because I want another number one and the clear number one in the building before we get rid of the asset of Cooper. Because I would be open to then do it next year where it'd be even less of a cap hit. You would have definitely no pressure because of Gallup then to be up for his contract, because you like this dude over here, which I think right now, Chase right now is better than Gallup right now. And if you, but that's that, because I was thinking long term with Chase. It wasn't about what's for next year. I was thinking all the contracts that was coming and everything. And so that's why I was like, I want Chase, because I want Chase to be the guy that's going to become the future obvious number one. And then maybe the person that can be competing for it would be CeeDee Lamb. Right. And then a year from now, you'll be like, we don't need Cooper and we can probably get some for him.
I hear what you're saying on that. Now I'm gonna say this on this aspect with Coop. Yeah. I'm on the fence with this now because, and you know why I'm on the fence now with this?
Yeah.
Because of Dak Prescott. Because see, just like the same with Ezekiel Elliott, there was a time where I felt Dak needed Ezekiel Elliott. When we got a Cooper, I was like, we need a receiver. Dak needs a receiver. Now I'm looking at Dak. Dak is an elite quarterback now. Well, I've seen elite quarterbacks play with good, not great receivers and ball out.
True.
So that's the reason why I'm on the fence now about the Cooper thing. Not saying Amari Cooper's not a number one receiver, but what I'm saying is Dak Prescott's good enough where he can bang with a CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup and a Cedric Wilson and a Noah Brown now.
No doubt.
That's all I'm saying. And let's say if a team jumped out there and just like you said, they came with, hey, we like Amari and here's a first round pick.
I consider it.
You'd have to consider that and probably make that happen because that's money off the books,
right?
And you're not like you're gonna re-sign a Michael Gallup now. You can get a Dak, but you can re-sign a Michael Gallup if you chose. You can still get another receiver in the draft, and now. The thing that changes the whole game, in my opinion, is Dak Prescott. When you don't have the elite quarterback, what was the words? Let's keep it real, boss. What was the words that they were saying about Dak Prescott? Oh, he needs to have a great receiver, a great line, a great running back. He got to have all these parts for Dak Prescott to be good because he ain't no franchise. But guess what? Dak, to me, has shown he is a franchise. So, no, I don't think he needs all those great working parts now. Now, there's nothing wrong with having talent on that damn field. But you always want to put your quarterback with talent. But what I'm saying is he doesn't need that extraordinary talent now because he's raised his game as an elite quarterback to where he can win with other players. Just like when Romo was there, he made plays better. We saw what he did with your boy Laurent Robinson. Wasn't nobody talking about no damn Laurent Robinson. Came over, he got 11 touchdowns. He got him a big contract in Jacksonville. He made He gave Miles Austin a contract. You know what I'm saying? Throwing him yards. He got people that weren't nobody out there where nobody was talking about and made them good. So what I'm saying is you can bring not extraordinary players now in with Dak and they can still be good. So now when you have big contracts, and especially if they're on the offensive side of the ball, you got to look into them a little more, especially if you can unload some, save some money, still keep your young talent and your franchise quarterback there. You got to consider all things. So that's the only reason why I looked at that with the eye opening. Like, yeah, I definitely would consider it if they offer me a first round pick for Amari Cooper.
I would compromise with KD now. I would compromise, with their idea, right? And my compromise would be next year, right?
Yeah, next year.
And the reason being is because when I look at historically when Mike McCarthy won his only Super Bowl, his 4 receivers was Jordan Nelson, Donald Driver, Givens, and Jones. 4 cold ass receivers, man. That's this. You feel me? Like when Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl, it was with 4 cold ass receivers. And see, I know it seemed like overkill, and I know y'all like, boss, will you shut up? Shut up. I'm just believing in this vision of a freaking Chase on a nickelback for the whole season. Because Cooper out there, Gallup out there, and CeeDee Lamb out there. You don't have enough DBs to cover that. Dog, that's crazy. That would be the best receiving core of all time. Bro,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, dog. I hear you.
And think about what they would do with Zeke. What would they do for Zeke?
I hear you.
Too many weapons.
Yeah, but them receivers be divas though about that. They all want that ball. But like you said, it's going to be explosive. But Mike McCarthy has done it. But and we got to get that. Got to figure out them pieces. I'm cool. I'm not going to hate on it because explosiveness players around on your team. I will say this: if you have those explosive, dynamic players, whether on offense or defense, they still change your whole team's concept and mindset. So I will go with that because we see how CeeDee Lamb changed it. And when they went with the best player available, they wanted defense, but the receiver CeeDee Lamb fell in the lap. And now you have excitement going forward. And even now, because of what he did to the team, he changed the dynamic of the team with CeeDee Lamb. So I get what you're saying in that aspect. And I feel you. I just say, get dynamic players. I would just say get dynamic players. The more dynamic players you bring in the building, it'll make your team dynamic, whether it's on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. So
because I'm look at that. Chase, not just vertical and all that crazy, ridiculous stuff that he does. I'm seeing him, Doc. Can you imagine him as our Cedric Wilson, where you working him in, bro? That's impossible to stop. Reverses coming from him. He built like a running back. He gonna be like a yak guy too. Yards after the catch and contact. I mean, I'm sorry, bro, but like I'm totally sold on best player available. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, like, and you right. You made the case that I should have made earlier. We needed defense last year, but that blinking light was CeeDee Lamb, bro. And I was thinking we wasn't going to do it because Dallas usually skipped over the best player for the need. Because remember, you know this, but a lot of fans forget, we picked Tristan Hill over DK Metcalf and Thornhill. Because we needed a DT. Nah.
Right.
Best available and work it out.
Yeah,
because it's gonna work itself out. Like, bro, like the best player available as a strategy literally got us 5 starters as rookies, and it's messing around and be 6. Like, I don't remember one of our drafts where we had maybe in the 90s, but maybe not even then, where we had 6 instant starters from a class. Like, because like you said, even the 19 draft, that draft started off as boo-boo, but it's starting to kind of, bud up into a flower, right? McGovern, like you said, Tristan
Hill, Donovan
Wilson, because that's the normal rate. This BPA, what just happened? This not normal. And if BPA is going to produce this type of stuff, like instant impact, Gallimores, Diggs, you know what I'm saying? Them types, just because they didn't seem like it was the right time to get them, bro. And I'm to me, the blinking light up there is Chase. That's the blinking light. Like, this dude destroyed all the first round corners from last year. Like, all of them. Like, I was actually misgrading all the corners because of him. I kept saying, nope, he's not a first rounder. Look how he was demolished. Then you start seeing the pattern. It's the same dude demolishing them. So actually, they good. It's just that he's exceptionally good. So,
well, I don't.
Would be my best picks right now.
I don't go against, like I said, if you get dynamic players in the building, I'm good with that. That's the main thing that'll make the team better. Now, I'm going to ask you a few things before I get up off here, big dog. One of the guys who's been a surprise to me, and I was ripping him. I don't know if I was ripping him, but I wasn't saying he was good. I still don't think he's anything special, but he's come along, and I'll be first to eat, I guess, what we call the crow. I was really bashing Dalton Schultz the whole beginning of the season, like, why is he on the roster? Can we find a number two? Find somebody else? He's not just a regular guy. He's not somebody that's anything special to me, but he's been playing okay. He's been playing very commendable, solid football. And now I can look at, hey, Blake Jarwin comes back. Now I feel good like a 1-2 tight end combo with the speedy, athletic Jordan. He comes back from his injury. Now you got a solid guy who can catch the passes underneath, do a little bit of blocking for you. In Dalton Schultz. What's your thoughts about Dalton Schultz in his season so far?
I think you don't really have to eat crow on Dalton, because the times when you was critical on Dalton, he deserved it. He really did. When you had more penalties than you had catches, you was a problem. And at that time, you was giving them tough love, you know? And what we witnessed is, and the only thing that I would also check myself on, as also to correct myself on my treatment of Dalton Schultz, was my patience. Same thing with Noah Brown. My patience with Noah Brown and Schultz was bad, right? Because I started to see those guys actually mature. And it was a lesson to myself that some guys take 4 years, some guys take 3, right? Some guys take 2, some guys are instant. And I'm not going to change, though, from this standpoint. If you're not balling at the time, I'm going to call that spade a spade. And there was a time where he wasn't. What he's actually matured into, to me, is more, he's a reliable tight end. I still wouldn't call him a great tight end or even a good tight end. I would say a very solid, reliable tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still know, I don't feel, I don't hope, I know we can upgrade at that position. I still, to this day, wish we would have got Sullivan and Moss over Danucci. To this day, the tight end in the 7th round of this year's draft. Because I think it's that easy also to replace him with a pure upgrade. And I'm praying.
He's replaceable. He's
replaceable. And I'm praying for the day that our fans realize that tight end is still one of the best positions to be aggressive about getting a killer. Okay. We don't really go after killers in Dallas when it comes to tight end, right? Whitner kind of messed up our appetite as he got older. We begin to see tight ends as those guys, as the reliable third down guys.
Right.
But look around the damn league.
Yeah, that he put us in the let's look for the old reliable hands. Can get the first down, move the chains, but not we. I totally agree with you, not to even cut you off, but that just sparked something in my brain when you said that, is that how he went. We don't have the, ooh, man, our tight end is nasty. Like, you know what I'm saying? We were hoping that in Blake Jarwin, though. I will say that Blake Jarwin I was hurt because he didn't get to show what he could do because his injury early. And I think he was dynamic. Maybe not like some of these guys, but I feel like Blake Jarwin was dynamic enough. So I can't say that.
Great. He had great type of.
I will say that about him. They looked at him and they kept him. So I think they saw something special in him.
Yeah.
So I think, and even when they try to experiment with Rico, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with what you're saying, is how we haven't just went for that guy tight end because of Witten, because of that interpretation. But I like Jarwin. I still would think you can upgrade the number 2, but just looking at for what he's done, 35 catches out of 52 targets, 383 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'd like to get more yards per reception, 10.9, not bad. And then a passer rating of 101.2 when he's targeted. So reliable. But can you still upgrade it? Yes.
Yeah.
But do I have a problem with Dalton Schultz right now? No.
I'm happy. I'm very happy, and I also eat crow with you. I really do. But I put a lot of season on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I put a lot of season on that too.
Yeah, because it's like, because in them times we was giving him he deserved them spankings.
Right. He needed to step up, and he did.
He did.
Let's give him that. He did step up.
And that's really what it is. We're not even really eating crow. We just more so saying he developed. But I also I don't want to settle. I don't want to say, see, look at those average numbers. Aren't they great? No,
right.
Numbers, okay? Like, it's still middle of the pack. And it's sometimes talent out there that can, like I'm looking at my boy Paul comment, like the Kelseys and the Kittles of the world. Absolutely, the Ertz of the world. You know what I mean? It's guys out there. And see, and from a strategic standpoint, let's just be honest. Dak does way better when you can get separation. The
Mm-hmm.
people that's the easiest to get separation from is linebackers. Linebackers really don't have the hips generally covered. That's generally where they're the liability. So if you ever look at Jalen Smith, where he looks the absolute worst is when he got a cover an athletic tight end. Then you be like, damn, bro. Like that wasn't even close. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a tight end matchup can bring you every game when you go after an athletic tight end. So I haven't forgetting because dog, I'm greedy, bro. I'm the type of dude I take a Chase and a Kittle. Why not? Because everybody on KC jock strap, smelling it and sniffing it. But go look at the weapons he got, man. Damn. Like, damn, they got 4 cold ass receivers. Why can't we? With a tight end. You don't think that's making a difference to Mahomes? Or you really think that Mahomes could go play with a bunch of number 2s and 3s and be great? You see that's not happening with the Texans. As soon as they lost Hopkins, even though Deshaun Watson is still good, he don't look as good. He does not. So, like, I'm for overloading Dak, if it's best player available, because I do trust this. And I mean this, bro. I watched what we just did last year and get all these steals back to back to back to back with best player available. I'm not going to cry because we got the best guy at pick 1. Where he like, damn, that wasn't ideal and what we going to do with him, but damn, he good. I'll take it. Whether it be defense, offense, I don't care. Because I trust Will and them. Because I'm going to just say this. We can be critical on the Joneses on a lot of stuff, but we sure damn not can't be critical on them on personnel overall. And especially the draft.
No, like, I can't. I can't.
Like, we can be critical on a lot of things, but where we got to take our head off to our front office is how we was all feeling after this draft, bro. Like, bro, like you remember the feeling. Damn.
I mean, and even how the team is currently structured, it's not in a bad place. So it can't be mad at the front office for that at all.
No,
I'll be at 100%, and I've been going ham on the Joneses, but I believe the reasons why are legit. But at the same time, I can say that the contracts are good for the most part. The young players have been replenished through the draft, like has been said.
Yep.
Looks like this draft has been a hit so far. And I think things are coming up as far as the staff. So good things can come all the way out of it. So I got to give some praise on the Joneses in that aspect as well, and not always be the critical guy and always be the easy thing to always just blame them, and give them the credit as well. So I definitely agree with that. With that being said, man, before we get out of here, and I'm gonna, I want to see what the people say in the chat. It was, as bad as we were looking, boss. It was looking like Cowboys 2-4, 2-5, 2-6. Oh, tank mode, blah blah blah. Now it looks like Cowboys can win some games, and if you look at the rest of the games this season, Cowboys got Thanksgiving coming up with Washington. They got Minnesota, Washington, Baltimore, Bengals, Niners, Eagles, Giants. Dallas can win some of them games.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to be all the way honest with you. It's all about the quarterback. If it's Gilbert, I feel like we can win maybe even 4.
I said 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, with Gilbert. With Andy, we might win another game, bro.
Yeah, I don't feel too good about him. And that's sad because he's a guy I thought we could do something with, but he just looked shell-shocked out there, and he just like he ain't want it. Just like I'm good. I don't want this.
He looked neuter to me.
Just like he ain't want it. Just like I'm good.
He looked like that dog that used to winning, but then he's like mentally injured, and because see, when Gilbert got out there, Gilbert was going through his progressions, and he was getting that ball out. Andy
was holding the ball, locking on receiver, looked like a rookie. Yeah, it just looked like, man.
Yeah,
but Andy Dalton was never nothing special, so this could just be the peak, and that could just be it for you. Like some quarterback, like we seen players, boss. Like I said, we played the game you play. It's nothing for a player from 1 year to decline within 1 year, and you'd be like, damn, it does happen. It happens very quickly, especially when you play the game of football. Yeah. So, and that could be a mental thing. And like I said, man, I really believe when I hear what Jim Law said about that salary, that could really why keep him on the forefront of why he's starting.
Right.
But hopefully we can see Gilbert down the line. So, like you said, I said 2, maybe 3 games they can possibly get, but I will agree on that situation with the quarterback because if we get good quarterback play and the defense plays like it has been, we can definitely win games because if you look at that schedule, no, I'm not scared of Kirk Cousins. Okay, they got Cook, but they ain't scary. Washington, we already know about them. They're beatable. The Ravens, they're beatable. We've seen Lamar Jackson. He's not looking like he was before, and I was never scared of him in the passing game. You can contain him in that running game, and I feel like you have a chance. Bengals, that's a tricky game to me just because Joe Burrow's good.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And I feel like he gets, and they're playing in Cincinnati, so he gonna have that. You know how it is, boss.
yeah, yeah.
And
We
then
got
and it's the Cowboys coming in.
yeah,
It don't matter our record. Joe Burrow is a rookie. I just feel like
everybody
that.
put that dub.
Yeah, I mean that's a game they're gonna feel good.
You called a
For
trap game on Pitt. You say this is a Pitt trap game.
you feel me?
Dallas, you called that. Yeah, yeah. I think you smelling that on Cincinnati, right, yo? I think I'm starting to get your nose on that, and your nose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a game that's gonna be tougher than what we might think.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely one. And then I look at these Niners; they're hurt. So I feel good that we can beat these Niners
That's
for
a
some
good
reason.
game that's gonna be like Pitt, but because it's the history. So
Right.
the record,
Throw those records out in that
throw
game.
those records out. Both of those people, both the Niners and Dallas know what that game historically mean to both organizations. Like it's a lot of pride between both organizations, and it's gonna show that day regardless of injuries. Um, and that might be the game we squeak out, but I'm not gonna lie. If they put Andy out there, I'm hoping for a tank because I'm like you. I don't trust him at all. Why would I trust a guy that's 0-4 in the playoffs and got like one touchdown and like crazy amount of interceptions? I watched him lose to TJ Yates from the Texans, a third string quarterback in Cleveland as a young quarterback. I was like, Andy Dalton, are you serious? You lost to a third string, noodle arm Houston Texan quarterback. So if your record that bad in the clutch with good teams, because don't ever believe, I know you know, but I'm talking to the others that believe that he was some kind of red rifle.
No,
Don't you
yeah. That's crazy.
don't you ever believe that he didn't have a squad with them Bengals? He had a squad
And he had defense.
and he had a defense. He had offense and defense a lot of years. So so they thinking that some kind of way they thought Andy Dalton was getting on the best team of all time, some kind of way, and was going to restore him to greatness. I'm all the way out on that dream. So
Yeah,
if he go start, I'm gonna go back to what I was originally. Say if the Jones tanking, I'm taking with him, and it's gonna be a good old fun off season. Everybody go buy my Boss Cowboy off season guide, and it's gonna be just great.
exactly. I got a one quote comment on Garrett Falcon. He makes a comment. He says, "You're kidding, right? We barely won 2. That Atlanta game shouldn't even count. We've already discussed that. We could have been 0-4. We could have been 4-0 if you really watched the game, the all 22. If you really watched all the tape,
Watch
all
that.
of
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
depth, you would know we could have won all those games. But
Ooh,
whatever." And he says, "This is why people hate Cowboys fans. We're way too delusional. We're not winning 4 more games this year. Laughing my ass off." Okay, here's my thing. Do you watch the NFL? Because it's called Any Given Sunday. And yes, you can win a game if your quarterback plays decent. Okay. And these teams that Dallas is playing are not indestructible by any means. You really think the Giants are good? And they could have beat Philly with Ben DiNucci.
yeah.
Okay. 49ers are totally injured and they don't look like the team they were before. Okay. That Bengals game could go anyway, but they could win that game. They could even beat the Ravens. That game is not you going the Ravens and say, oh, the Ravens can beat us. We know the Ravens can beat the Cowboys, but don't sit there and saying that the Cowboys don't have a chance. That's false. They can beat the Washington football team, and yes, it could happen or beating the Vikings. Am I saying they are? No. Am I saying it could happen? Yes, it definitely can.
Yeah, and I think some people when they listened for anything to troll because we was very clear on our analysis. It was a big old depends we put on there. If Gilbert plays and play like he played against Pitt, we're more than capable of winning at least 4 games. At least we could win more if he played like he played. But if he doesn't play up to that, and if Andy plays, I
Yeah,
said
we're not gonna right.
I don't
We're
think we can probably win another game.
right, exactly.
So
It's up to the quarter.
that had that comment just skipped that part of what we said.
Right.
as if we were just saying that I think we're going to win 4 and we stopped at that statement. No, we gave a full analysis of what could be the road on the next 8 games to either win 4 or not win out at all. It's going to take what we saw with Gilbert, mixed with what we saw with that defense, and it would have to remain that way. And that team that we saw against Pitt could win 4 games. And if you say that's not true, you just hating. You likely from another team, or you were just trolling. Either way, it's cool. Just listen to the full analysis before you kind of get on and clown, because then you get yourself clown.
Right, and he says Garrett says he's a full Cowboys fan, so definitely not hate on you, dog. But you just can't make those kind of statements and think that that can't be talked about, because that's not what's being said here. I'm definitely not and I'm not saying you're saying us or in general. I don't know, but I'm not the delusional fan. That's one thing I'm freaking not. Never will be a Cowboys. Now, do I be hyped on my team sometimes? Yes, I was this year because I love my team, but I'm damn sure not delusional about the whole big scheme of things. And when you watch NFL football, it's definitely any given Sunday. We seen it. We watching these Miami Dolphins, right? They ain't have no damn good team, but guess what? They fighting, right? They playing ball, right?
And see, you said this last week, Big James. You said what's gonna happen. I said we getting ready to get routed.
And I said it was gonna be closer.
A close game.
I said it was gonna be a close game. And we could win it if the offensive line gets the quarterback some time.
And the quarterback came out, and I wasn't expecting it. I was sitting back waiting to think I was going to see another DiNucci or another Andy. But when he came out, and I was like, say, man, you came out in your first drive and you threw a 50-yarder to Cooper. Okay, let me see what you got. And then he kept doing it. Now, was his balls all good? No, he threw a lot of high balls. He got some people hit hard with them high-ass throws, but he threw it in the area code, and they was able to catch it and come down with some of them. So it's just like, we calling it like it really is. If we get a quarterback that can go out there and do what he did, and our defense play like they played, we can win.
Yeah.
4 games. Maybe more. It would just have to be that same intensity that we saw with Pitt, for sure. Because I guarantee nobody said we was gonna be Pitt. Nobody
did. I said it was gonna be close because I thought we could. I just, I felt it, and like I said, if I felt that way about Pittsburgh, I definitely feel like we can get this if we get some decent quarterback play and the defense plays good. Because no matter what anybody says, I mean, I know you said about Jamar Chase, you play defense, so I know you like it. But I'm a defensive guy. I love defense. Always played it, coached it. That's my specialty. That's what I do. And I always know that you got a good defense. It travels. It'll go in the home. It'll be away. It'll play in the dirt. It'll play in the rain. It'll play in the mud. It'll play everywhere. That defense will carry. And as long as that defense is playing good, it will keep you in the game. And that's what it did in that Pittsburgh game. That defense kept us in the game against Philly. That's why we had a chance. That defense kept us in the game against Pittsburgh. That's why we had a chance. If it wasn't for a couple crazy calls, could have won that game. It was a big defensive turnover by the defense when they were up. And if they could have got that turnover, that would have been critical for the game. So as long as your team is playing some good defense, get some decent quarterback play, you got a chance every week.
Yeah, and my boy Sean Moore, and we're not picking on y'all when we kind of take these comments and go back and forth with you, man. It's actually an honor, and we'll really appreciate back and forth. It's cool. My boy say people getting way too high, almost got them lost. I mean, it's like at this point, that's what we got to do. Like, I mean, it's one of those things to where I already said even last week, me and Big James talked about this. We going into this from an evaluation standpoint. So that's why we spent most of the show evaluating. We wasn't talking about more so what was the score and what was the momentum changes of the game. We was talking about boss. What was the biggest takeaways on defense that was positive and offense and everything. So that's what we doing. And I said this and Big James said this. We can lose every game. I just want us to lose it like we lost it. I want to fight. I just want to see the Cowboy football. We know we ain't got the talent. We injured up to the ears. Now we missing Tyler. Now we missing Diggs. And we got we can go on and on the injuries. So, but is this still intact? Is this star still intact? Is that heart still beating? And that's the expectation, bro. That's the expectation. I'm sorry. So I already said I'm not looking at no more games on a win and loss basis. None of them.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the games on evaluation purely who playing hard, who want to be a Cowboy. That's why me and Big J spent so much time talking about the passion of Donovan Wilson, because he's showing you seeing not only good play, but you seeing crazy passion. Him and Diggs go for that pick, and they both get up flexing. They into it. You can't tell we only won 2 games because they just loving to be out there. That's what I want to see. So anybody that's coming to this show, listening to us thinking we on some delusional W's versus L, you been missed the point of what we've been doing.
Mhm.
Real.
Sure.
We not over here on no W's and L's. We over here right now on, hey man, what's this about?
Yeah. Yeah. So I totally feel you with that. Hey man, we went hard today, dog. I really appreciate you. I think we did like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Go long, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a real good one, man. I really appreciate everybody in the building, the great comments from everybody in the feed. Shout out to my mods, shout out to the members that were giving great comments. Shout out to everybody with the donations. Also, my member who became today, always a lady. Shout out to you for becoming a big level member. I really appreciate everybody today. Really great talk on this bye weekend. We'll be able to watch some football this weekend, check everything out. My fantasy football, I'm not that guy, but guess what? This year I was a fantasy football guy, and Vash Lombardi had that league. And guess what? I'm 7-2, boss Cowboys. I
What?
should have got that. I should have got that dub, and I was hoping,
Bro.
dog. I was hoping Law lost last week, but he keeps squeaking by with these last second plays that get him over. He beat me on a last second field goal. So me and him are banging 1-2, 7-2. I got Skywalker this week, and Skywalker got a few players. So there's going to be something interesting. I got to keep that momentum in fantasy football since there's no real game. I can really concentrate on these games, and my guys need to rock. We need to keep this first place momentum. I need to get this belt, title, whatever. I've never done this, and I need to get it so I can continue to grow as a fantasy football guy from here and beyond, because I'm low-key becoming addicted to it, for real, for real. So let's get that belt.
It's dope, bro. My boy Gary Falcon, he said, "This is my first live stream. I watched this whole live." Yeah, that's what's up, man. Appreciate that. That's
I
the guy.
appreciate you, Garrett.
See, that's the beautiful thing about also supporting Silver and Blue Nation and podcasting in general, bro. This is a place to where we engage. You can't go back and forth with the TV and the TV talk back, but you can go back and forth with Big Game James. You can go back and forth with Boss, and we go take it. Like we go take as many as we can, So it's a beautiful thing. And come back, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button,
Please
hit
do.
the button, become a member, and just stay in tune, because this is what we do every Saturday. But trust me, Big James don't sleep. I call him a vampire. You go see him on every day.
Yeah, I'll be at the gym first. I'll be in the gym in the morning. I have some stuff I had to do today, but I'll be in the gym first thing in the morning, and then I'll be probably making a live tomorrow. Oh yeah, because I got my guy, Cowboys fan talk, and Mike White for Burgers and Blizzards. I think we're gonna do a 3-man thing tomorrow. So, hey, you know what it is, man. No sleep till Brooklyn. You feel me?
That's
You know
right.
what it is. Hey, but
Yeah.
man, let everybody know where they can find you, boss. Everything that you're doing. One thing before you start with that, I always want to give you a appreciative thank you for jumping on with me here every week. You don't never have to do that, so you do take your time out to jump on here with me weekly. So I definitely appreciate you taking out your time for me, and then you always spit, so for sure. But you was just really bringing it the good analysis of the game, especially since you played the game at a very high level at the University of Houston at cornerback. I think a lot of people should know that, because it helps you when you analyze the game.
Yeah, it does.
It really does, because you've seen it. You've seen coverages. You talk about coverage. You've been in the locker rooms. You've been with the playbooks. You've been actually seeing things on the field, and it really helps that eye. And I think more people should be able to understand it. And I always want to let people know this guy played at a very high level, was a very good player on that level. And I just really respect your knowledge that you always bring to the table whenever we do a show, and salutes to you. Now go ahead and give out your shout outs, dog. Appreciate you.
Man, Boss Cowboy Sports is my page mainly on Facebook, but I'm on every platform, and we got a lot of stuff that's coming. I'm getting ready to launch a whole lot of new stuff, websites, new videos, Boss Cowboy Show, whole kind of lot of stuff getting ready to launch. So yeah, y'all stay in contact, and it's always a pleasure to do shows with you. I mean, because it's easy, bro. Like literally, people don't know, but we freestyle. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't really organize. We just really go on here and come from the heart. So it's what you seeing is two guys who love this, and we really spend a lot of time. I actually respect you a whole lot more, Big James, now that I'm actually in the podcast game with you, because I really didn't know when I used to kind of watch you from afar how much work going it is.
Bruh, they don't. I mean,
Yeah, I just want to say fans real quick to the people that follow your page. I do have a Twitter. And I will focus on Twitter, but appreciate that, Marvel. But I just want to kind of explain like all the work that go into this, man. And so take, really don't only subscribe, hit that super chat, put a couple of dollars into movements like this. And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is not little what I'm getting ready to say. It's powerful to be free. It's powerful to speak free. The whole brand of Boss Cowboy, where your voice matters, right? The whole point about that is as you support Big Game James and put money in his pocket to help upgrade the show, but then he booking big guests. Remember this though, you the one that keep him free. Because Big James might get recruited by the Dallas Cowboys to do this, and it different pressure on him, man. Just keep.
I wouldn't even like that. I'm gonna keep it real. I wouldn't even like that. I would love it in the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
But I would feel like I'm gonna keep it real, boss. Not to even cut you off. I mean, when I came out of media school, man, I had opportunities to work at radio stations. You get what I'm saying? I had opportunities to go do that.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is where I can make my mark, more people can hear it. But this is the route I chose. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to stay independent. And I wanted to make my mark however it would be on the independent tip. And I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be the long route. I knew it was going to be the super long route probably, but it's more fulfilling in my heart because nobody's telling me what to do. I want to be in control of what I want to do. And I've always been that type of person that want to be in control of his destiny. I don't want somebody else controlling my destiny on nothing I do in no aspect of my life. You get what I'm saying? So this was just a no-brainer for me.
Like Gary just gave a super chat. You know what I'm saying? He
Shout out to you, Gary Falcon. We really appreciate you for the $1.99. Holla.
Appreciate I play for you of H or whatever, but at the same time, keep doing that type of stuff. Because as you get those super chats in here, man, that allows the people like Big Game James to keep pumping out content, and he don't have to apologize. I'm telling you, I know some of these guys hold back their analysis because they're afraid of job security. And Big James ain't got to do that. He ain't got to say, well, should I say that about this person? Because I know this owner favors that person. So if I speak bad against them, they may want to get me and fire me from radio, blah, blah. He ain't going through that. But the only way people like Big Game James and me can kind of keep bringing that funk with no pressure from corporate is support. So,
yeah, and like you said, it allows us to open doors to continue to get guests. Like I said, we just brought Kyle Yeomans back. I wasn't able to do that show. I had some things that was going on, but we were able to bring Kyle Yeomans, and we're going to always continue to try to keep the. We're not just going to have our analysis. We want to bring it from the Cowboys' perspective, and that's why we wanted to make sure we were in good with the Dallas Cowboys people, and we can have good back and forth. And Hellman and those guys, I feel like they really do respect our work because Hellman's been on the show twice. Yeomans has been on the show twice. Holly's been on the show twice. These guys that are guys that analyze with the Cowboys brought us like this. I mean, Jeff has been on here multiple times. We talked about Broadus, and I think Broadus is going to come back on. Not tooting any horn, but just saying we still bringing that Cowboys perspective. So you're still hearing what is going on behind Cowboys walls with the still getting our side of it because we have that passion for the Cowboys and we study as well, and we might know the game as well. But we still like to bring both perspectives so it's not flooded on one side.
Right. Yeah. So we appreciate all the support and all that kind of stuff. So definitely follow Boss Cowboy Sports at pretty much all the social medias, especially Facebook.
Yes, sir. And keep on supporting, subscribing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we really would love for you to get a subscribe. We also have memberships available. You can see when you go to the Silver and Blue Nation with a subscribe button. You can also become a member as low as $1.99. Doing some reconstruction with that because I got a lot of things going on in my life right now. Let's just keep it all the way funky. But I'm just trying to, reconstruct some things. So please be patient with all my members out there who are out there for me. I appreciate y'all. and let's continue to try to be great. Let's hopefully see what the Cowboys are going to do in the second half of the season. We've seen some positive vibes these last 2 games, and hopefully we can see more from this defense, see these young players who can grow into the team and the organization and have some good outlet and some trending upwards from here on out. I'm going to be live tomorrow. Should be with my guy Cowboys Fan Talk, young and up-and-comer who's just coming in the game, and he's doing his thing. I really like what he brings to the table. And y'all know about Mike White, not to be trite, burgers and blitzes. He brings it raw as you can ever bring it. And, first time I think I'm going to have 3 guys all in one panel. So that's going to be interesting for myself. So I'm excited about that. Make sure y'all tune in. Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James. Y'all know where y'all can find me. And let's keep on grinding this, and let's keep on doing this, and be safe out there. COVID is getting crazy again. So please be safe out there so we can have a different 2021.
They said, what day is the late night hype? Somebody trying to follow.
Oh, okay. My wink, the late night hype will always be Tuesdays until we jump out there and say it's never not Tuesdays. It will always be Tuesdays. We didn't go this Tuesday because of the bye week. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little exhausted. Keep it real. I needed a little charge, and I think we were kind of waiting until some more Cowboys dudes came up, and then we got a hold of Kyle during the week, and Thursday was his best day, so that's why we went with the hype on Thursday. And usually if we get like a guest who we're going to have a nice guest and we have to kind of work around their schedule, that's when the hype changes during that week. But the hype is always going to be Tuesday night, every night. But when we get a certain type of guest and we got to kind of look at their schedule, then it might change during the week. But we'll always tell people ahead of time what's going on with that. So just always keep in tune, because you never know who's going to be next on that show, for real. And so with that being said, what that?
No, I just tripped on your pause.
Oh yeah, I know. I paused like I was like, yeah, okay. All right, y'all. Hey, love y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Boss Cowboys, Big Game James, Silver Blue Nation. We out. Peace.